thrill of light at the scene of hurt. Like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Welcome, baby, he's ignored. Action is his role to him. For life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find the Spider-Man.
Awesome. I'm Steve-O.
This is Ezra.
All right, we're doing Spider-Man today. Just wanted to start out before we get into this. I know it's been a long time, almost 3 months, and we've had a lot of great feedback from friends and family, and I'll put it this way. And I know Steve-O can attest to this, but you know, if you're listening to our material and it doesn't seem too long and you get what we're saying, then you're the perfect fan. Now, if you don't get it and we're just kind of geeking out all the time, it's okay. We just appreciate the support. And like I said, it's just about two bros geeking out on some of our favorite movies. And also, taking on recommendations from friends and family and followers. So without further ado, I'm going to go on the ledge here, Steve-O. I'm going to say that this is probably going to be our best movie review. And what we're going to do, guys, is Spider-Man 2002 through 2007, the Sam Raimi verse. And then we're going to do the Amazing Spider-Man 2012 and 2014, which was Mark Webb. Both are Sony productions and very different. We're going to get into that in a little bit here. We'll touch just a little bit on the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, which was directed by John Watts and Disney Studios. But we're going to focus on 2002 through 2014, the two other Spider-Verses there. So, all right. So, Steve, what do you think about the stories for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
Yeah, well, I guess starting with the first one, I was of course, the Green Goblin. He is his arch nemesis. There's little debate on who really it is, but I guess it's the Green Goblin. He was like the first one that came out. Also, Venom came out way later. I believe. Oh my gosh, I wanted to bring this up.
So I got here Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Harry Osborn, and then Sandman and Venom.
Ooh, Sandman? He's one of his arch nemesis?
Oh! I thought you were saying all the villains that were on it.
No, I was bringing up like his arch nemesis. What is debatable? Who his main arch nemesis is? I was like, Sandman. Oof. But anyway, yeah, like Venom was arguably one of his arch nemesis as well. Even Doc Ock, you brought that up. But yeah. What do you call it? I don't want to get into Venom. We're not talking about Venom. I'm just bringing up like the villains. So anyway, I'm glad they went with Green Goblin on the first one. That's the first old school villain he runs into anyway in the comics, the cartoons, whatever. Story-wise, the beginning, of course, Peter Parker, he's like I guess they try to put him with us. Like he's like, what, you know what I'm saying? He's like just a regular dude, kid in high school, just trying to make ends meet. He lives with his adopted parents, what I call him, his Uncle Ben, his Aunt May, and he's getting picked on at school. This movie doesn't show. It shows a little bit with this guy Flash Thompson picking on him. He's like a joke, I guess. Just a regular nerd getting picked on, whatever. I think he's got a great storyline. The way they show it in the movie, because this movie is debatable, but it's pretty accurate. And when I bring up debatable, meaning as in it's debatable if this movie is possibly the most accurate comic book movie filmed, going off of exactly what the comics did. And once we touch into the other reboot of Spider-Man, well, I'll delve more into that later on the review. But yeah, it's debatably the most accurate comic book adaptation of any superhero movie or any movie that's came about.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to it, bro, because I know you were talking about this earlier. I think we always get excited and we start reviewing these movies before we even do the real review. But This was the Spider-Man movie or series that we had all been waiting for as fans.
Mhm.
You know, it'd been so long, right? We had man, 3 or 4 different cartoons from between the '60s and the '90s on Spider-Man, and I don't even remember if they had an old movie on Spider-Man. But this is what everybody had been waiting for, right? It was like that technology, the computer animation, right, for him to fly and this, that, and the other. So when
Mhm.
it came out in 2002, it was huge, huge. I mean, it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time because everybody had been waiting for it. Um, and you know, what do you think about Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man?
Ooh, yeah. What I wanted to bring up real quick, since you brought up movies,
Okay,
did you know this isn't the first film adaptation of Spider-Man? We actually
that's
had,
what
I
he
believe,
did.
two of them. They were from the '70s though, and I
Hmm.
think I don't remember the name of the. I think it's just basic, The Amazing Spider-Man, and then the second one I believe was in 1970s. I'm not too. I know it's '70s for sure. Called Spider-Man: The Chinese Connection, and I mean nobody remembers these movies, bro. It's like a dude like his costume was basically let's go to Dollar General and let's get what do you call it one of those shower curtains, paint it red and blue and put it on, and then maybe like a I don't know a freaking pillowcase and
Yeah.
color it too, and that's it. So
Oh,
what
yeah.
the fuck, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
nobody remembers these fucking dumb movies. So
Uh-huh.
this was the big one, like you said, 2002. Wow. So so to bring up your question about Tobey Maguire, um, this is where I bring up nostalgia. So of course, when this movie came out, I was 19, going on 20, so I wasn't a child anymore. I was already leaving my teenage years, right, that year, and so I bring up nostalgia only because this was years ago. So I think Tobey Maguire did a fantastic job, but I bring up nostalgia. I'll bring it up more later because it's going to come into the debate on who is the better Spider-Man of the two actors. But
Mhm.
so far, this he got the luck of the draw because this is basically the real taken serious first live blockbuster adaptation of Spider-Man. So this guy's got that under his belt right off the bat for anyone to automatically go with him. Just like
Mhm.
I bring up Michael Keaton for nostalgia. I love Michael Keaton. That's my childhood as Batman. But before him, for nostalgia for everybody else in history, is Adam West Batman, which to me is just some goofy dude, whatever. But I mean, it was a hit. That's what started it, right? But it started with Batman, the comedy crap. So this was our first live adaptation of a serious Spider-Man with money spent well on a badass costume. Um, I loved his portrayal. I think it's awesome. And as we get more into the movies, I'm going to show the big negatives about his portrayal. But right
Yeah.
off the bat, he did a good job, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh yeah, well put. Because, and here's the thing, Peter Parker, the character, he's such a dynamic character, right? He's the everyday average Joe, right? Nerdy guy, then becomes a superhero. So it adds that element of being humble, right? So he's humble, but he's got kind of like not as raunchy as Deadpool, but he's got that sense of humor, right? He likes to jab and poke jokes and things like that. I think for the most part, Tobey Maguire, like I said, everybody was just kind of wearing blindfold. We just wanted Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And so when he came out, it was like, okay, he's a good fit. Yeah, sure. I can see that because Peter Parker is known as a geek first, more than anything. And he played it. Tobey Maguire, he played it very humble. He was a very humble, right? Uh, um, uh, Peter Parker, Spider Man. I don't remember him doing a lot of jabs and jokes. Like he wasn't smart alecky that much, and that was the one thing. Now, maybe it's not Tobey Maguire's, adaptation of the Peter Parker Spider-Man role. It was probably because of what was given to him, right, by the writers, screenplay writers, all that good stuff, the producers and directors. Because I'm going to get into, my biggest loser. But overall, bro, I think Tobey Maguire did good originally, but now now, and I was telling you this, now he looks, and forgive me, everybody out there, don't get mad. I don't want to hear any bad comments or whatever, but now he looks like a pedophile to me, man. I go watch the movies, and he just seems freaking weird. He just looks too geeky. They made him too geeky, and I don't know. And like I said, no offense, but I think I don't know. Sounds like he's got a speech impediment, and I called. He had like a Hitler haircut, man. I mean, all you need is a little mustache in the middle. You know what I mean? Especially as he starts going through all the different movies. You know what I mean? It's like his hair keeps getting longer, especially with the last one in part 3, where he's got the dark hair and the eyeshadow or whatever. It's just too much. And like I said, it maybe wasn't his fault. It was probably all these, Hollywood writers and whatever, giving him that material. But the one cool thing I did like on the Sam Raimi verse was that he had his web shooters coming out of his hand.
Yes, they were organic. That's what I loved about it.
Yeah, and see, you would think, oh, if they're organic, then your body's going to produce them. But Sam Raimi ruined it in part 2. This dude lost his libido or whatever the hell, man. And it's not even explained in part 2. And I know we'll get more into it, but I don't know. I just think, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I think what ruined the Sam Raimi verse was Sam Raimi gave too many conflicts in every movie. And I'll go ahead and share it right away, and then you can tell me what you think. But in the first one, obviously it was the loss of his uncle. Now, I'm not going to lie. That, to me, is a very legitimate, heart-touching conflict for anybody to have, right? And I think we've all lost somebody very close to us. So I don't have any gripes on that. That is a very deep, challenge or conflict that needs to, be balanced. But and then it was him, his love obsession for Mary Jane.
Very
And
cringe-worthy obsession, like, ooh, man. And like you have great points, and I see how you see them now, right? It's like I give this as an example. Like a starving person. I mean, you're like, first we have a date where we're hungry. Let's make a sandwich, go to the store, whatever. Okay, there's no groceries. I got a couple bucks. Let's go out to grab a bite to eat. Well, if you're put in a situation, as in Spider-Man fans, to where I call the comics and the cartoons like portions of food for somebody that's starving. Well, it's like, well, hell, where's our live action movie? That's the buffet, right? And we didn't get it for decades and decades. So when we finally get it, everyone's just like, either it was a good or bad movie. As a Spider-Man fan, you're going to love it automatically because they finally gave the fans what they wanted. And
right.
I think that's where it went, and that's where the nostalgia goggles come in, because we're so in love with this movie, but because we've been craving for this movie for decades. So it's hard to say, to come out. And like us now, though, years later, we look back at it and we see a lot of, we have different portrayals of Spider-Man now. And we're like, okay, well, we were just starving, and then we got the fix, and it's like, oh, okay, they start giving us the sequels. To me, in my opinion, we'll get to it, but they go downhill for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you're right about Peter Parker. Like, he was great at first, but then after that, they start making the sequels. Then we have the reboots, whatever, and it's like, well, it wasn't too great. It comes off creepy. They're supposed to be in high school. I gotta look it up how old these people were. Now, I know Kirsten Dunst was around my time. She was born in 1982, so obviously I was 19 going on 20. So she could have possibly been a high school student that probably like stayed a couple of grades down. She flunked like twice, this dumb bitch. So this dude, I don't know how old he is. He's like fucking probably like, I don't know. I think he was like 30 when they filmed this shit, bro. So you kind of hit the mark right on the bat. He's fucking pedophile. Fucking, he's posing as a kid, fucking going to high school and checking out these chicks. And like, it's crazy. It's cringeworthy that this dude is so obsessed, and his aunt helps with this obsession. Like, there's this one scene real quick that always, like, I love this movie, but then if I'm watching it with somebody like whoever, and we start watching it together, I start like getting embarrassed. I know everybody's had that at least once, where like you praise the movie so much and you're showing it to somebody, and then you have these parts that make you feel uncomfortable. And then you look with your eyes to the other person, you're like, oh shit, I was really praising this movie, and there's this embarrassing part. Or there's this one scene where that old ass lady, Aunt May, I don't even think she was old in the comics, bro. The lady, she was a wonderful actress, 85 years old aunt, over there, right, with him, and she's like talking to him. This one scene, she's like, I remember when they first moved in, you were 5 years old, and you're like, oh, Aunt May, is that an angel? I mean, what 5-year-old talks like that? She's feeding into his obsession with this woman, and I want to say she's kind of a villain. because she started his fucking obsession with this girl, and it just went all the way through. This poor guy never got interested in another female because this fucking demented old fucking lady put in his head about this woman that she's the most beautiful girl in the world, and she's a pretty actress, but come on, bitch, is she that beautiful to fucking spy do all this crap for her? You know what I mean?
It is if you're a pedophile.
Just fucking dress up as a kid, fucking go to school. God.
And you had a good point, dude. So think about this. If he's I'm doing air quotes here, if he's a high schooler, you can't even keep a straight face. This dude's a high schooler, man, 18 years old. Let's say 18, right? Let's say his parents are 40 years 40, right? Would that make sense? And you know, whatever, right? I think that's a good guess. 40 years old, kid's 18. Remember, it's his aunt and uncle. Wouldn't they be in their 40s too?
Why are they in their 80s?
You're right, man. Like, what the hell, man?
Mm-hmm. And we'll progress into the series, bro. I noticed with the series is Aunt May got younger and Uncle Ben stayed the same in his 80s. Yeah. I'm like, what kind of message is this shit giving us?
Yeah.
So Aunt May is one of the villains in my opinion, but you know, poor lady is because she's up in her 80s, man. She's got dementia. She's probably got I know for sure, you know, just a mixture of everything. You know, she needs to be in a home. They have this dude, this 45-year-old dude fucking there with her and like posing as a kid. I don't know how he got into it, right? To be a fucking teenager, and he's there. And I don't know. This is crazy to me. You know, we'll delve deeper into it as the series progresses.
I can't get off that. Yeah, and why is she like a white version of Aunt Jemima, bro? Like, what the hell? Who created this character? It's what was it? It's 2002. Why would she? Anyways, bro. So if anything, I'm picturing an 80-year-old sister, right? The aunt, right? And then 40-year-old parents. So she's I don't know. Anyways.
They're gonna make my head burn up, man. Trying to do the math of these fucking how the hell you have 80-year-old uncle and aunt, but whatever, it's fine.
I know. So, you know what? So, like you said, the nostalgia goggles, I think, were the main focus for us all. Because I'll tell you right now, dude, seeing his origin story, right, when he gets bitten, man, that really hits to the heart, right? I mean, that's like, oh man, you crave that, man. You're like, oh, that's how it is, and you get to see it. Modern, him soaring through in between the skyscrapers and the buildings and stuff, that just seems so fascinating. And shooting his web and doing all kinds of cool stuff. And then there was to me a great highlight was, and you may disagree, but William Dafoe as Green Goblin, I thought he did really great up until he died.
Oh, I know, man. He did a tremendous job, man. I loved his characterization of that, his portrayal, especially how they did that unique thing. And this is Sam Raimi. He did his little touches of his, because he's known for horror. He started in horror movies, obviously with Evil Dead, and so I noticed this was his first big, out of the horror genre action movie blockbuster. But he snuck in a little bit of his horror elements in there, which I thought was great. One of them that I thought was a great idea, pretty creepy, is how he would talk to himself through the mirror. But whenever he looked in the mirror, it was the Goblin persona. But when we're not looking in the mirror, it's him. I thought that was pretty clever. Mm-hmm. And everything was clever about him except for the fact that this dude's costume gets on my nerves. Like, he's wearing this fucking, I don't mind the armor, but that big Halloween goofy fucking thing with the big head like a goblin, I hated that. And I brought this up online countless times to everybody. You hire a fucking dude that looks like a damn live action goblin, and all you have to do is paint his face green, give him the fucking ears and teeth. That's it. That's all you have to do. The guy is a great actor. I feel they're neutering his portrayal because he is wearing that stupid mask, and he's a great facial actor. Like, he did with his facial expression, stuff like that. So I felt that robbed William Dafoe's talent, like, with what they had. They should have just put him in makeup, and we'll talk about it later about the new Green Goblin, in the rebooted verse. But anyway, but other than that, he did a fantastic job, man. Like, great. Norman Osborn, he was awesome, man. Willem Dafoe.
No, yeah, and that's a good point because not skipping ahead too much, but if you think about it, so this guy William Dafoe, his Green Goblin character, and you're right, he shouldn't have been wearing a mask because the guy becomes a mutant, right? In the comic books and all that good stuff. So he's supposed to be a mutant Green Goblin, and but in this version for Sam Raimi, they had him carrying on a normal life, like he was a schizophrenic, two sides. Come home, take his little formula, right? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
So he created that concept. Whereas in the Amazing Spider-Man, they were a little bit more closer to the comic book, where he was the creature itself. Because had William Dafoe become the creature, then he would have been living in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still connected with his son Harry, and they were having conversations. Father of the Year.
Yep.
So that was the one trade-off. So he couldn't have both, right? He couldn't be a mutant and then have a normal life and juggle being a parent for Harry. And instead, they just said, okay, we'll just have him, be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, formula. And that's what they did. But, overall, I think as far as all the enemies, all the action scenes, I think they put their heart and soul into this one, the story. And the battle scenes, I think, were great. I think this is of the Sam Raimi verse, right? All three movies. This was the best villain, the best acting for the villain, the best fight scenes. The only thing is when he dies, and geez, Sam Raimi takes that spike, his own spike to the groin. Jeez Louise. Ultimate death. And then what did he say before he dies? Don't tell Harry. He drops dead, right?
Yeah, he says that. Don't tell Harry.
Right, he says it's
he's kind of a tragic villain, right?
Yeah, for sure.
At least. Yeah, but you're bringing up great points. He seems like a great father. I mean, this is all for his legacy, right? I mean, I never seen him try to have any bad intentions towards Harry, except for that one scene where they're at the parade, and he's just like throwing pumpkin bombs, those little mechanisms that he has at everybody. He could have killed his fucking son. Doesn't he get hit with a rock or some bullshit? I mean, he put his son in danger, but I guess it's debatable that that's not him. That's the Goblin, which in any other storyline to me is annoying, to where you have a split personality villain, but at the same time, to me, it works. I think it worked out pretty good for the film we got.
Absolutely. And so just kind of going on to some of the other segments that we usually look at. So we've talked about the acting and the dialogue, I think, for the most part. Because those are primarily the main characters. You had Uncle Ben, but he dies off pretty quick. Was there anything you were going to talk about with the way Uncle Ben dies?
Yes. What really
They change
gets
it.
me, like the way it happens.
Yeah, I remember they changed it by the third one.
Yes. Ooh, I hate that. And we're going to get into that. But the way this one does is so traumatic to me. Like I remember like this guy, he got screwed over for the wrestling gig, right? They didn't pay him the $3,000. That's how much they were going to give him, right? To last 3 minutes with this dude, which Macho Man, Randy Savage, awesome. But he pinned him in two. We'll check it again, Webhead. That fucking dude with his accent, Brooklyn, whatever fuck, thug accent, whatever. He's gives him just like $300 or whatever. Anyway, he screws him over. Then Spider-Man's all pissed off. He's a nerd, right? He's not going to start a conflict. So like he leaves. Then the other guy like walks in, fucking pistol whips that dude, and then takes some money. They're like, "Hey, stop that guy!" And Spider-Man just gets out of his way. That guy's like, "Thanks." Oh, what's wrong? You let him go. So then it's so like hurtful to me, and to this day, that scene gets to me. Like, and he just had a little argument with his uncle when he drops him off. He's like, I think the last thing the uncle tells him is like, "I'm sorry, I don't want to try to act like your father or sound like your father." He's like, "Well, stop pretending to be," or he's a little fucking nerd. So then he leaves, whatever, all mad, does his shit. Anyway, he comes back, and he just gets there. His uncle's lying on the ground shot. So we didn't see what happened. He just walks out, and, like, the police are there, and he sees, one of the loves of his life is I was like, keep saying grandpa because they're in their 80s, but it's his uncle. And he comforts him right at the end before he dies. He leaves. He finds his dude, and he corners him into this warehouse. I guess it's an abandoned warehouse. And he grabs him by his face. He knows he's the killer, that he had shot him. But then when he's all, that thug's like, just give me a chance. He's all, what about my uncle? You didn't give him a chance? And then like when he sees his face, the flashback that always gets to me. This fucking guy. I wish they would have delved into it more, because that's a conflict that I hope I never had to relate to. But it would, I think the normal person, it would torment you for the rest of your living days. That if you would have stopped this thug out of, being a good Samaritan, your uncle would still be here, or your grandpa, whatever he was, would still be here. Your loved one, I should say. And that would haunt me for the rest of my life. I think any normal person would, especially if you love somebody that close. He didn't die from natural causes. His life was taken.
Yeah.
So that impact to me is just chilling. Like, wow, like you could have stopped it. In a way, he did it, because he did nothing. He became a victim to Peter Parker because Peter Parker chose to do nothing. Not that he knew. I'm sure, of course, if he knew, he would have stopped him. But how would he know? So it's just how it happened. And it's very impactful to me. It's like, wow. And then when that guy trips and falls, Spider-Man's in a rage. Tobey Maguire has really good acting. You can see in his eyes. He's in a rage. And it's even debatable there that I wonder how far he would have went. I don't know. Out of rage, a regular dude. I mean, he's a nerd. Keep that in mind. Which, I mean, I don't mean nothing about nerds. I'm a nerd too. But, like, he's like a nerd that's used to getting pushed around at school, abused, like, physically and mentally in school, getting picked on all his, like, school years, whatever. At least that's the way they portray it, the way I take it. So I don't know how far Peter Parker would have went with this guy. Do you think, in your opinion, he would have killed this guy? Or do you think he would just beat him to a pulp, let the cops take him? Because what happened, I call it an act of God. It is an accident, but I call it an act of God, that he tripped over that pipe and falls to his death. And then that's it. But do you think he would have, in a rage, killed this guy? Or you don't think so?
So first, before I answer that, this version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, I don't know. This is the more emotional one. Like,
Yes.
everything he does is emotional. I mean, he had a great father figure in Uncle Ben, and overreacts, overkills, crushing this poor guy who was a father. A lot of people never had a father, and here's this dude crushing him. So there was that. And then, like you said, he was in this rage. Like, I don't know. I think Sam Raimi was focused too much. I know he wanted to create the scene where, I mean, because remember, Sam Raimi did Darkman, right? It was about revenge. And so I think Sam Raimi got caught up in the revenge mode. It tells a great story. It paints a great picture. But if you think about it, in Spider-Man, we don't need it. We don't need it. His uncle dies. I hate. You were talking about cringing earlier. You know what makes me cringe? Is where he was like, he says that stupid line. I hate it. Where he's like, "Oh, I forgot that this was my problem." Oh my God, shut up, dude! Just grab the guy. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? And maybe he gives you a reward. I don't know. But anyways, and then ironically goes out, kills his uncle. Would he have killed him? So answering your question, in Sam Raimi's rated R verse, of course, he'd fucking rip this dude's head off.
Yeah.
Now, in the PG-13 Sam Raimi that we got, where he was like, getting hardcore and then said, "Oh, shoot, I need to step back. This is for kids." Nah, he wouldn't have done it, just like he did. You know what I mean? And like I said, it just ruins it because, like I said, Sam Raimi, he likes to make those R-rated movies, horror flicks about revenge. I mean, he's a great filmmaker. Don't get me wrong. We even have the same birthday, October 23rd.
Awesome.
But he got caught up in the wrong things. We needed to see Spider-Man learning about his powers, learning about, his strengths, his weaknesses, what he can and can't do. And he added all these little side stories and emotions that to me, bogs down the whole story.
It does. It gets too emotional.
Very emotional. So now you have a guy. Peter Parker. He's juggling the drama with Green Goblin, his obsession with Mary Jane, and then the loss of his uncle. That's just so much in a small time, right? I mean, I know 2 hours seems like a long time, but it's just too much. And it just, like I said, we had those goggles on, and we were just like, "Ooh, we're Spider-Man," and we got to see a little bit, right? The spider bite, the swinging, and flying, and all this stuff, and then the battles with Green Goblin. So those helped the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's even that little small origin story of the Green Goblin, which is very different from the comic book.
Hmm.
But like I said, kind of getting off of, because I know we've been on the first one for a little bit, but yeah, I just think it's just too bogged down. My loser for this one is definitely Sam Raimi. As much as I love the guy, I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm a huge fan. It's just, come on, Sam. We wanted Spider-Man, not freaking Darkman and all this other stuff rolled into one, right? Ash and all his favorite characters. There's a lot of highlights, though. He did a lot of good things. Don't get me wrong. Uh, there was a dark tone to it. That
Right. Right.
by the third one loses the dark tone, even though the guy has the venom embedded into him. Like I said, we'll get to it. It wasn't as dark as the first one. The first one had those dark undertones, which was I loved.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right, 100%. And to bring up Darkman, like you got a great point. Like it's annoying to have stuff from a different movie, especially Darkman, which I'm a huge fan of, one of my top favorite movies of all time. But I don't want that. I'm not watching Darkman 2. I'm watching Spider-Man 1. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing you brought up about the uncle, the loss of that's huge dramatic tense. That could have been enough for just this movie. That's it. You don't have to mix in everything else. Like he's already a struggling dude, you know. And to be honest, I feel a little bit. I feel like he kind of gets over it a little bit with the losing his uncle. I mean, because he's so his mind is clouded from this one beautiful girl, the most beautiful woman on the planet, and it's like it gets too emotional. And then whenever just like the conflicts of the Goblin, awesome battles, whatever. Um, I don't know how far you want to get into it with it, but because I think we pretty much covered all of it, except for one thing I'll bring up, the music. Danny Elfman.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan of Danny Elfman. Love it. He's got his little scores here and there that becomes character of another, like Batman, to me, a character in the movie, but he's starting to repeat himself a lot. And I'm starting to know because I'm a huge fan of his. I'm like, wait a minute, because then if you ever put on the Hulk, the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk, you'll hear the theme for that. He also did the music for that, and they're similar little boom, 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 his little tones. And I was like, wait a minute, he comes up with a good song, but to me, the theme song for Spider-Man, the trilogy of Sam Raimi, is not memorable at all. It's decent, but it's just a mixture of, you'll hear a little bit of Batman, a little bit of Darkman, like. It's a mixture of everything he's done. He's starting to repeat himself, and it's getting just there. But he still did a good job. And we get into part 2. You let me know because I'm going to bring up an interesting trivia about Danny Elfman and Sam Raimi on part 2.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, let's get into part 2.
Oh, but real quick, I want to touch base with that with the death of Green Goblin. I know you said that bothers you big time. He gets stabbed in the groin by his own shit. So, and he's like, "Don't tell her," and he drops dead. Okay, so. What I'm trying to bring up is it bothers me that they killed him off. Why didn't they just keep him around? I don't know. As a kid, it used to bother me when they didn't kill the villain. But now as a grown-up, it's like I want them to keep him around. He's an iconic villain, Green Goblin. I want to see him later. You don't have to give him to me in part 2, but maybe part 3 comes back, which he kind of does. You have to get into it. But other than that, that's pretty much all I had to say about Spider-Man 1. It's a good film. It's great. But now seeing it with all the rivals, I call them, is that they have, because of the reboots we have now, it's like, ooh, it's going to get it's got a decent run for its money. If not the first movie, but the Sam Raimi trilogy has good competition coming in the future.
Yeah, and you've kind of brought up like Batman 1989. I mean, it's a debate, right, with who's the best Joker, right? Like, and I'm not gonna say I'm not getting into that. Like, between Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger, and then now Joaquin Phoenix, right? And the Jack Nicholson version always holds true because it's that 1989, right? So I could see William Dafoe as a strong Green Goblin character. He's only got one other Green Goblin to be compared to, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Right.
Great acting, of course, like we discussed. Now, as far as Spider-Man, so now you have Michael Keaton, 1989 Batman, who is, I think, the best Batman.
Yes. No, hands down.
He created, he created the style of Batman with the voice or just the style and everything. But Tobey Maguire is a forgettable Spider-Man, and who cares? He drives me crazy. I'm tired of his acting, man.
It's crazy, right? Because these are like he's got the luck of the draw, like I said earlier, nostalgia goggles. But at the same time, we look back from Michael Keaton's Batman as a child to grown-ups now, you know, and it's like it's even more wonderful to me because now we get all of the like more about it, right? I mean, that holds up. That holds up big time, especially now we're you know, our age group we're in, you know, we're not kids, we're far from teenagers, you know. It's like we still have that love for Michael Keaton's portrayal. And it's not just nostalgia goggles, it's that we've grown to appreciate it as grown-ups as we did children. So this guy is like, and look at all the competition Michael Keaton had, which was, come on, man, this bottom of the barrel bullshit. So this guy has competition, but guess what? His competition isn't a long list like Michael Keaton's, but damn, is it good competition, you know? And that's us looking from younger you know, audience to now an older audience. It's like it doesn't hold up to us. Now it's debatable as well if we were kids. You know, I'd like to ask, you know what, maybe one day I'm gonna ask Catherine that question because she was a kid whenever it came out. Maybe for her she'll look in a different way. She still loves Tobey Maguire because of the nostalgia, because she was a child, but I'll ask her that later. But anyway, yeah, you have a great point about that. And I'm about done with that unless you want to bring up any more about the first one.
Yeah, no, the last thing, I'll just finish off with the first one. I know I was trying to move on to the second one earlier, but if I'm not mistaken, Mary Jane, the love of his life, the most beautiful woman ever created on the face of the earth, throws herself at him at the end of the movie, and he turns her down, right? Just be a man, dude. You'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Shit.
Yeah, and then like, correct me if I'm wrong, at the very end, whenever, and it's so cheesy, whenever she's like, oh, I was hanging by my almost to die, facing death, all I could think about is, will I see Peter Parker's face again, his beautiful face? Just grabbing him. I'm like, ooh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, this is too cringy. And then like, I love Sam Raimi as well, but like I said offline, I just feel like this dude put in his type of stuff that he was going through as a teenage dude, you know, in high school. The nerdy dude, unattractive, that could never get the popular girl or any girl of that, you know. And then these are like his fantasies, I feel, of what he had as a teenager before he got his shit together, you know, became a badass film director. Like, he was that nerd that always wanted the girl, the beautiful girl, never got it. He got picked on, shit like that. So I think he, in my opinion, I don't know the guy, I'm just saying, like, I think this dude, nerd, put in his real life shit that he went through into this guy. And it's okay because Peter Parker is that character, but I felt he put too much into it. Too much drama. Like you said, it's all over the fucking place, you know? It's like General Hospital or some bullshit, you know? The Young and the Restless, or the Old and the Restless. Like, geez.
No, you're right. It was just too bogged down, man. And then, you know, you get the conflict. He doesn't want to put her in harm's way. Be a man. How can you figure it out? But
take care of your woman. Be a man, bro. You're 40 years old. I'm sure you could handle yourself. Shit.
Yeah.
Arthritis kicking in.
And then, you know, this will be the last thing I say, but it's like real emo style, man. Like, he walks away and he's like, it's, you know, basically it's cool to be depressed. It's cool to be sad.
It's cool to be alone.
Dude, if you want it, and she's there and she's saying, take me, then take it. You know, that's what makes a man is, you know, you want something, you take it, or you fight for it, or you work for it, or you strive for it, right? And then it was thrown at him, and then he walks away. I think that ruined the movie. You know?
It's, the whole movie's kind of like, it's kind of like, you know, like, why did it even happen? You went through all this shit with this bitch anyway. Now you're just gonna let her go? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
You know, Sam Raimi and the team, they could have been like, you know what? We'll feed into this bullshit the next you know, episode, whatever, the next movie. And leading into the second one, here we go, Spider-Man 2, 2004, 2 years later, they put that same obsession, but on crack, on steroids. And it was just like, oh my God, again with this crap? She gave herself to him, and he's still obsessed. It's like the dumbest thing ever. Now, what makes it even worse is she's with another dude, kissing him, engaged, about to get married. You know, just dumb. And then, you know, they add little, you know, small characters. I think Gwen Stacy was added in the second one, and
I think she came on the third one.
Third one, yep, you're right, because she's with Brock or whatever. But
Barack Obama.
there was that
Yeah.
Russian tenant or whatever, roommate or not roommate, but a neighbor. He had a Russian neighbor that lived by. She was throwing herself at him.
Mm-hmm.
Just dumb, man. I don't know. It just drove me crazy. But anyways, so what's your take on Spider-Man 2?
I just brought up. I wanted to bring up Gwen Stacy real quick. Ironically, and I hate that I'm going backtrack, but just real quick. Ironically, that scene with Goblin where he has Mary Jane and the train filled with kids or whatever. What do you call that thing? The sky that the kids were on. He's all pick your woman or suffer the children, and he lets them go.
Oh, right.
So anyway, I bring it up real quick because in the comics, Green Goblin does kill Gwen Stacy, similar to that, and they kind of put that in there, but then they changed it, right? So anyway, I just brought that up real quick. But Spider-Man 2, so everybody praises this is the one, this like all-time best superhero movie. How to do it, and the first time I watched it, I wasn't impressed. And like even like my friends that I watched it with, they're like, "You don't like it, bro?" I was like, "I didn't really like it." It's like, "What?" And I was excited to see it because I wanted to see what else happened after the second one. Now, to be honest, I knew Mary Jane was going to be in it, but I was disappointed that he's still pursuing this bitch because he literally told her he'll never get with her. He let her go. She was right there at his feet, what he's always wanted, his fantasy, and he lets her go, and that's it. Well, I'm going to meet villains, and I'm Spider-Man, and it walks off all alone. So the only progression this character had from the first movie is he got superpowers, but he still didn't learn his damn lesson, in my opinion. He didn't. You know, he just chooses to be alone. He's crying about being alone. He's a nerd getting picked on. Well, the only thing that changed, he got superpowers. So superpowers changed his life, as in he won't get bullied anymore, obviously, because he could whoop the shit out of him if he wanted to. But then he's still alone with his grandma, his great-grandmother, you know, and then that's it. So this one it disappointed me right off the bat because he's still pursuing this one. The obsession is there, but times 7, times 10. This time it's worse, like you said, because she's with this dude, and we didn't bring him up. J. Jonah Jameson, awesome character, the actor, which is oh my god, and I love him. I can't remember his name right now. He'll be out, brother.
Yeah, no, I can't remember off the top of my head. He's on the insurance commercials.
Yes,
I know who you're talking about.
he came out on Whiplash.
Oh, I know.
Yes, man, I can't remember his name. Anyway, but yeah, he did a great portrayal of he looked like the guy in the cartoon and the comic.
J.K. Simmons.
Huh?
J.K. Simmons. Sorry.
There you go, J.K. Simmons. Yeah. I love that actor. He's a great actor. And they picked a perfect guy for that reporter dude that's always fucking trying to get Spider-Man's balls in a cringe, you know, fucking. But man, dude, but yeah, he's always done great. This time it's his son that I guess he traveled to the moon. Now, a little trivia tidbit about that character he did, right? He was in a space station or whatever, the sun. I think they said he was an astronaut. So a little bit of trivia on that is in the cartoon and the comic, that son becomes a villain later in the Spider-Man universe. He's like a werewolf type villain. I can't remember something like that. I can't remember his name at the time. But anyway, I thought that was crazy. Oh, they brought this guy in, and at the time I remembered about this character. So I was like, oh, well, later on we're gonna have this new character, this new villain. So that's cool. They're putting little Easter eggs for future villains they're gonna use. But no. So then anyway, getting to Doc Ock. So I was a little disappointed because I was like, okay, we got the first villain, so now I'm hungry for more. So the rule of sequel is you got to go more, go bigger, go more dramatic, more you know, everything like whatever's on the table. But I was kind of disappointed it was just one villain because I was like, I want to see more. But then I was like, it's okay. You know, Dr. Octopus, he's a famous character. Like I said, he's arguably he is one of the arch nemesis to Spider-Man. But then here we go again. He's a tragic villain. You know, he has that I forgot what he called it, that enabler chip or something in the back of his neck that would control his brainwaves to where these artificial intelligent arms wouldn't take over, which I thought was a badass concept. And he looks great, in my opinion, with the arms. The arms are fantastic. The way it stings into his spine, and you know, his origin I thought was good. And that's pretty much it. I was disappointed we got just one villain, but at the same time, I was pleased with the villain we had. But it drags on a little bit because here we go back to the drama of Mary Jane, back to like I gotta keep this secret from her, you know, like
Oh, bro, don't forget Harry Osborn.
Oh yeah.
He was a side
He's got
bomb.
the vendetta with Spider-Man now because he saw that he brought in his dead father. He's like, "What have you done? What have you done?" Pulls out a gun, the dude leaves. So he's hating Spider-Man, which is ironically his best friend, right? So what I do like about this is we're starting to see how close they are, Harry and Spider-Man. So we saw how close they were the first movie, where he kind of sticks up for him and he gets bullied. So that's cool. That's a bro, right? So then the second movie comes in. They're still good friends, but there's just that tension with Spider-Man. So now he's upset with Peter Parker because he still takes pictures of him. So if you're my bro, why the hell are you talking to my enemy? This guy killed my dad. So that to me brings a real life conflict. Yeah. To where of course we're bros, man, but like at the same time, why are you gonna be friends with somebody that and not just fucked me over, but killed like the person I was close to all my life was my my grandma, to get a little personal. If somebody that I loved like a brother, and they're over there talking to the person, the vigilante that took my grandmother's life, we wouldn't be cool at all, dude. I'd be an enemy like that right off the back. So it's relatable, but then it's like, I mean, not relatable. I don't ever want to go through that crap, but I'm just saying, to use an example, is just like, it's pretty crazy that he still has him around anyway. He must really love the dude's company, or he must really be lonely, because I think right there, right off the bat, is a stab in the back, even though Spider-Man didn't kill him, but believing is seeing is believing, the old saying goes. So from what he saw, he didn't see him murder him, but he did see him bring his father's dead body to the fucking room, and he doesn't say nothing. He just leaves. So that looks kind of guilty to me. But anyway, I brought that up because you brought up the Harry Osborn.
Yeah, but think about this though. If Spider-Man's a bad guy, which it could be understandable, right? Harry sees Spider-Man with his dead father. But who's ever killed somebody and then been very sensitive and gentle to them?
Right.
If you hate somebody and you want them dead, or you kill in the crime, what is it? Crime of passion, or heat of the passion, heat of the moment. You're not gonna, I don't know, get all sensitive on him. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is, he's probably saved his dad. He didn't even ask. He said, wait, like he just reaches for the gun. I would have said, wait, how did this happen? And then he could
talk to him. But nobody talks to each other.
Yeah, exactly. What's funny is he could say, well, your dad got killed by his own freaking experiment or whatever, his own shit, because that's the truth, right? But another thing with man, it was something that you said earlier, because you were right. So Harry, he's real close with Peter Parker, and he has that hatred. I don't get the Doc Ock. He was a well-renowned, scientist on another level. I mean, working towards Nobel Peace Prize. Next level, top of the food chain scientist, game changer. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And the next thing you know, he's robbing banks.
Like a low-life criminal. That's what bothers me too, because this guy was going for those awards, Nobel Peace Prize, like you said. I mean, think of what those arms could have done for sick people, for people that need limbs. Like, that's an outstanding achievement. And like, I'm like, nobody gives a shit when he puts it on. They're just like, ooh, all cartoony. That's what bothers me too. When it stabs into him, he's like that, and they're like, like everybody gasps. I'm like, shut up! Like you should be praising this dude already. Fuck this little tritium bullshit with the sun. What are these arms? This is magnificent technology. Where did you fund this shit? He looks like he lives in a fucking attic of like a fucking like a building or some shit. But I mean, it's like, wow, that's right there, and like they're just kind of like, the trim. He wants to go all the way to the touchdown, but that's a great step. He got those arms. Those are pretty badass. And everybody's like, I guess we have the technology already in this universe. Whatever.
Yeah, because after the explosion, remember he's in that lab, and there's doctors trying to help. They're trying to chainsaw that stuff off. That's when they all get killed. Well, he can. I mean, I think he could prove, hey, this is not my own fault. Like, I can't control these things. Look at the chip.
Yeah, that's all he had to do.
Yeah, but there's something that snaps in his brain, though. Right? Remember, he's talking to those things.
Yeah, they're in his mind.
Yeah, exactly. So he's talking to him, and then he's also got. Remember, he killed his own wife. His wife died.
Yeah, because if he would have stopped what he was doing, she would have died in that freak accident.
Yeah.
where the glass shattered her and killed her, and I thought that was very traumatic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this dude, I feel he gets over that very quickly. I mean, they look like they were in love, the couple. That's another thing that bothers me about his characters. Like, they look so in love, right? Like a cute older couple, and then she dies by basically his hands because he's getting power hungry with starting this little sun. You know, the power of the sun in my hands, what he says. And it starts all the shit like a magnet. And his woman gets killed in the process because he wants to keep going. He's putting everybody in danger. So, but then again, we already know Sam Raimi. We've got too many sensitive subjects with Spider-Man already. Why do we need another one, right? But still, I felt like he could have like delved into it more about like his sadness. But I guess you can also say that those things overtook his mind. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So he was like in a different state of mind, but it was just funny how he went from this renowned or prestigious scientist to bank robber, fucking low-level thug.
And then when he takes the ant, she's like 87, takes the ant out. There's no way they're tossing her like a fucking hotcake, bro. There's no way in hell that she would be alive, dude. She's like a fragile old lady, throwing her around like she's hot potato, and she's falling like off a skyscraper, shit like that. No, she would have been dead from shock, dude. That's it. The moment he grabbed her with the claws, it would have broke her fragile bones, man. She would have been done. We would have had Aunt May's funeral 2 days later, you know, and that's it.
Fucking sad. Another sad fucking moment for fucking Peter. Time to be depressed again.
Here we go.
No, you're right, man. Because yeah, he was tossing him around. It was a cool scene though with the graphics and everything like that. But
the arms, yep.
Why, you know, I don't know. They could have probably made it. See, and the thing is so it proves my point. So I mean, he doesn't. He's not infatuated with his aunt, but Doc Ock still finds out he's Peter Parker. Doesn't tell anybody. You know what I mean? That would destroy the guy. He just blasts that out, right?
Yeah.
And then, but he takes Doc Ock takes Aunt May. But does he say, you know what? After I save Aunt May, I'm going to disconnect myself from her because I don't want her life to be at risk again? No,
he's something like that.
No. What I'm saying is he doesn't say that though. He doesn't. Yeah. So basically, the reason why he didn't want Mary Jane was because he was going to put her life at risk. But he ends up putting Aunt May's life at risk, but he doesn't walk away and block her out of his life after that. Right. You know, it's just dumb redundancy, like a missed opportunity. Proves the point that he should have just took Mary Jane as his girlfriend, his love interest. But what do you think about Doc Ock's death?
Oh yeah, now that was pretty cheesy to me. Like, I mean, it's debatable if he died. He just looked like he was dead with his eyes open, and he went into that thing because he was trying to stop that tritium that was turning into a sun. So I don't know about the change of heart right away. I guess because he must have had a heart for Peter Parker. I know he knew him and he was getting to know him, but when he saw that Spider-Man was Peter Parker, like he just instantly changes his mind. And then those things are trying to talk to him. He's like, no, you listen to me now. So all of a sudden, he gets control of these things when I thought they were controlling him. But all of a sudden, it shows us that, hey, he can change his mind whenever he fucking wants to. You know? Yeah. That was bullshit to me. So then he decides to flip the switch, and I'm going to handle this because I don't want to go to jail for the rest of my fucking life. That's what he was thinking, if a irrational dude, because Spider-Man needs to take this guy in cuffs or whatever, have the cops come. Yeah. Disassemble this bastard and send him away for the 80 to 120 years life sentence. But this guy's smart. He's like, well, let me handle this. I could do it with my arms. With fucking so obviously it was good. Put his own life at risk to fucking take out that shit. So technically, Spider-Man didn't save the fucking the day. It was Dr. Octopus. He started the shit. He took it out. But then, what do you think of the reveal to Mary Jane whenever he jumped to save her from that wall?
Real quick before that, you had two good points on the Doc Ock thing. So first and foremost, it proves that it's shitty screenwriting, right? Right. So if he can control his own shit after a while, whatever, right? The other thing that you said is kind of like your point on Green Goblin. Why do they keep killing these dudes off? These are his arch nemesis, and get the guy locked up, especially if and I know you're going to mention it later, but for the update, they're trying to get him on the new Tom Holland No Way Home movie. And so now they're trying to patch up and fix a bullshit story where he drowned
Mm-hmm.
and play it off like he didn't drown. Anyway,
Right.
now I'll get more details from that, but that just kind of lets the fans know. Stay tuned. I mean, don't log off yet because we got some good stuff coming up. But yeah, so the reveal was like every one of those movies, man, and it's definitely Sam Raimi's style. He likes it to where every movie has it to where half of his mask is ripped off. Did you notice?
Yes.
Every one
It's
of them, they all have their
constant.
mask ripped.
Constant.
Yeah, it gets old and it's not cool. I mean, what the hell is this suit made out of? Like you said, dude, spandex or what? Man, shower curtain.
Yeah.
You should be able to resist. I think that was the dumb part. And at that point, dude, remember, it's already been almost 4 hours from the first one, 2 hours of the first one, almost 2 hours of the second one. Right? So 4 hours of watching this dude, freaking fall apart over this stupid chick. And at that point, I think everybody's just emotionally drained. Like, who cares? Like, are you finally going to get this chick now? And I guess, yeah. I mean, they end up together going into the third one. So it was kind of like, oh, finally. But to me, he struggled. Remember, the whole movie in part two, he's struggling with his Spider-Man mojo or whatever. Spider-Man libido's gone.
Yes, we didn't bring that one up. Yeah, I did not understand that because it's organic, so obviously it comes out of him. But then they never explain why. He's just like over here chilling, swinging around the world. I mean, the city, whatever. And then all of a sudden, his shit stops, and he falls down. He's having problems. Like, what is he going through puberty, or like, I mean, I don't know, or like he's got erectile dysfunction. That's what I feel. I feel that that's like the under the table, thing they're trying to feed us is that he has erectile dysfunction.
Right. So they never tell us what it was he was going through. The second thing was they never told us how it got fixed.
Yeah.
But it could have been all the damn depression over that chick that he should have took in the first one. Dumb, man. Just horrible, storytelling.
Yeah, he's accepting the more sorry days. Like, just take this hoe. She wants you, dude. Like, take it. I mean, come on, man. Like, and then just to go through, and then another thing that bothers me is Spider-Man 2. Yeah, she's getting just as obsessed as he was in the first movie over him. And I'm like, it's cringy to me, dude. And it's like, oh man. And then we're getting on the third one pretty soon. I'm like, fuck, it gets worse, man.
It's a lot of film wasted
Yes.
on a story that we don't need to know. It exists, this infatuation, this obsession, but bring it down like 12 notches. You know what I mean? I mean, this thing is like through the roof. This dude's a damn stalker at this point, right? He's watching her and this, that, and the other. I mean, come on.
It's crazy, dude. Creepy. He's a creeper, dude. Talk about Jeepers Creepers, shit.
There it is. I'm done with this one. If you have anything else to add. It's the same soundtrack music, right?
Yeah. That's the trivia I wanted to get into.
Okay.
So there was drama on set with well, not on set, but like after the movie's finished, they have the composer do all of the score. So from what I read is Danny Elfman did the score because he returned for the second one. Well, did you know he didn't score the entire movie? It was another composer was hired named Christopher Young, which we don't talk about him at all, but he's also one of my other top favorite composers. To get a good bit about his work, he's done a lot of work, but one of them that stands out from the horror movies is Hellraiser 2, Part 2 with Pinhead. Beautiful score. Even the first one. He did the first one as well. Beautiful score, man. Like that big old theme. He goes all out. So anyway, if you notice on Dr. Octopus, whenever he's making that little sun out of that tritium, the music starts playing what sounds similar to Hellraiser. Very similar. So what happened is Danny Elfman had turned in his score to Sam Raimi. He hated it. And he called him on his bullshit. What I brought up the first movie, he said, "You're recycling shit. I need new shit." Basically what he tells him. And it started this big old fight between them. So either Danny Elfman quit or he got fired. One of the two. And what sucks is that he already filmed he scored most of the movie. So they hired this next guy, which was Christopher Young, that did the Hellraiser's music. So if you ever get a chance, and I'm talking to the people that are watching this video as well, check out Hellraiser Theme, the Hellraiser Theme, and you're gonna hear that by Christopher Young, and then listen to the score Spider-Man 2, the Doc Ock theme, whenever he's going through that drama with the tritium, and it's the same score, but he tweaked it. But it sounds almost exactly the same. And I remember in the theater when I was watching, I was like, wait a minute, this don't sound like Danny Elfman. This sounds like a horror movie. And yeah, they literally borrowed the Hellraiser theme for that scene. Wow. And then another thing on the train, that was his score. And then the train scene where Spider-Man's, his fucking chest is bursting out of his shirt. I didn't get that. I mean, I understand because all the pressure, but I really got to see his shirt tearing. What's up with Sam Raimi and his costume tearing? Like, you think after Green Goblin, your shit can't withstand anything. You're going to invest on getting a better costume, you know, at least fire retardant or whatever, you know, something. But no, he's wearing the same bullshit. And like his stuff's ripping, whatever. Well, anyway, I bring that up because that score with that train is Christopher Young. Oh. And then they even have it on YouTube where Danny Elfman's original score that never made it is on YouTube. You can listen to it. And yeah, it does sound pretty, you know, the same as his other scores from other movies. So Sam Raimi called him on his bullshit. Long story short, they got into a big old argument. He fires Danny Elfman, or Danny Elfman quit, and then he brings in Christopher Young to finish it. But Christopher Young, he doesn't get any, how do you say it? The credits for it, because he only put in about 2 or 3 songs. So when we move on to the third one, you're going to notice the music's different, except the main theme. That stayed the same. But Christopher Young took over full composer, you know, stuff for that one.
Yeah, the rights. No, so what you're saying is Sam Raimi, the director, hates Danny Elfman because he's recycling, but then hires Christopher Young, who recycles Hellraiser music.
Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy? So the drama went even deeper, because even they asked Danny Elfman about it, and he's the one that says that he says it on a quote. He goes, I've worked for Sam for years, and I don't know exactly how to say. I'm just going by what I read, because I was like, wow. And he said that he's a great person, but on Spider-Man 2, he was a completely different person. He was an asshole. Like, he didn't say asshole, but basically, like, he acted like he didn't even know the guy, didn't give him no credit, totally disrespectful. And Danny Elfman tried to say, okay, he understands that it was the pressure from Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is such a huge hit. Now he has rights to the second one. He's got to top the first one. So Danny Elfman was, like, sweet about it. He said, I kind of just let it go like that, but he said this guy was terrible to him, and that he didn't work with him after that. I don't know if they ever patched up things, but that was it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole fucking movie in my book flops. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and that's crazy. We're the minority, because anybody else I see, they praise this movie like it's the best one.
Yeah.
They praise it. With all its problems, the first one, I praise that one with all its problems. Because if you're giving me these 3, I'm like, well, shit, the first one's the best, but nobody agrees with me.
Yeah.
And then they kind of pinpoint the negatives that we have about it, but at the same time, when they see Spider-Man 2, oh, this one's the one, this one's it, this is a superhero movie all the time, take notes. No, it's not. It's not. You got a villain that ain't even a villain. He's not even all there. Another one. So, okay, so this is the second one. He's a tragic villain. When are we going to get a real villain? You know, ruthless. You know, so
heartless, yeah.
That's pretty much it. What I have to say about Spider-Man 2.
The last thing I'll add with part 2, because I know we've been on this for a long time, is Alfred Molina, who plays Doc Ock. I think he's always been a great actor.
Yeah.
He did very good, but it was shitty, poor screenwriting.
Back to the screenwriters.
So it ruins it. And then I think you might disagree with this one, but I thought James Franco as Harry Osborn was okay.
He's fine.
Yeah, he sells the hatred.
He does.
And I just wanted to throw those in there. Those are the 2 main villains. But didn't get anything else, bro. We can get to the third one.
Yeah, I'm done with Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 3, 2007, Sony, Sam Raimi, everything's the same. So you have part 1 in 2002, part 2 in 2004, and then part 3 in 2007. And I was pretty pumped up about hearing that Venom was going to be in this one.
Oh yes, hell yeah!
I was like Venom since the cartoon. I was pretty excited.
Yeah, he just got that creepy look, and you know, with that big mouth and those teeth, those eyes.
Yeah,
he's terrifying, dude. Like, who the hell want to go up against this creature? You know, and he's all big muscle dude.
But where did they drop the ball in the Venom? Well, he was barely in the goddamn movie.
Not just that, but another thing that bugged me about Venom, And this is probably the most anticipated one for me, is Spider-Man 3, because Venom. Who doesn't love Venom? I mean, I'm sure there are people, but like just the fact of him, he's crazy. And it was the creator of Spawn, Todd McFarlane, that came up with Venom when he took over writing for the comics of Spider-Man. That's his creation. That was awesome. You know, and you could tell too, right, with the teeth, the mouth, and all that stuff. And everybody dug it. It was awesome. So I was excited to see Venom. He's on the commercial, the trailers a little bit here and there, and you're like, oh, he's fucking Venom. Hell yeah, Sandman. Fuck Sandman. You know, even as a cartoon, I'm like, this dude, fuck Sandman. What is he? You know, then Venom. Oh, Venom. So now they're doing the two villains. That's what I wanted the second movie. But then no, then you got this dude fucking with this green mask and goggles. I'm like, who the fuck is that on a Goblin glider? Well, they call him New Goblin. Not Green Goblin 2 or not Green Goblin again. He's called New Goblin. No, I thought he was Hobgoblin too, but no, they call him New Goblin. And I was like, okay. So, and it's Harry Osborn, which I thought was great. See, now this right here, when we get into it now, the third Spider-Man, I had high expectations. So I was like, oh, who the hell is this New Goblin? I never heard of New Goblin. I heard of Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. There's fucking another Goblin. But I never heard of New Goblin. Anyway, so we get into it, and it was revealed in the second movie that he saw that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. And then they're just like, we'll finish this later, something bigger than us, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. They don't handle it. They don't squash it. So I don't know how much time passes. Real lifetime for us, it's been from 2004, 3 years later.
3 years.
So I don't know how long it takes place after Spider-Man 2. But you mean to tell me that as soon as he was done with his drama with Doc Ock and Mary Jane, he didn't go right away to go fix things with his bro, you know? Talk to him finally. Look, let's go have a couple of drinks, let's have barbecue or something. Just go to his fucking house and talk to this guy. You know? But no, he didn't bother. I don't know how much time has passed. And like now James Franco's character, Harry Osborn, is the creep. But I think it's hilarious. He's there watching, they're watching that show. There goes fucking Peter Parker. He's got the woman now, you know, and they're watching her show, and then James Franco's just like, you know, looking at him and grinning. Waiting for it. And I was like, oh, dude, now this is going to be well-deserved battle, because they showed us their friendship from the first movie, the second movie, the tension, and now here. This is it. This is what I wanted. Oh, man, I was excited for it, man. I don't give a shit he's New Goblin. I want to see the fight, because you're talking about two bros, because I feel this established how close they are, because we had Harry Osborn this is the third movie already. This established it. So the worst battle you could have ever, in my opinion, are two ex-brothers that used to be like brothers to each other, either blood-wise or not blood-wise, spiritual-wise, and there's a huge downfall to where they'll never be cool again. This is going to be the most craziest battle ever. So they have the battle, right, and he's dressed up in his stupid, not even Spider-Man suit, and then this guy has an accident while they're battling. He falls, he hits his head. Now he has amnesia, the most annoying shit I could ever think of as a villain. And the rest of the movie, he's here, I'm good now. I have amnesia. And I'm fine. I love everybody. Shut the hell up. He wasn't even that emotional in the first movies. Now he has amnesia. He's back to, he remembers everybody else, but he don't remember Spider-Man, you know? That was annoying for me.
So dumb. And then by the end of the movie, he's a good guy. Just, you know, I kind of think it's, you know, going back, right? We've taken out the nostalgia goggles, and it's just shitty, poor writing, you know, stupid, right? And I don't know. I guess they thought, well, he's got those explosives that, you know, creates fire, right? Combust. Then he's got fire on his little rocket bullshit that killed his father, you know. And what destroys sand? Fire. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we can put these guys together. They could fight each other or something. I guess that's the thinking. But, you know, going back on the Venom, man, it was like just waiting and waiting. This, what is it called? The Symbiote or whatever?
Symbiote.
Symbiote was in Peter Parker the whole time. That's probably the worst. It's just like a joke, man. I mean, Sam Raimi should put his head down on this one. The right.
He's put his head in the toilet and fucking flush it, man.
Yeah, he's dancing, and then he's got the Adolf Hitler haircut, and you know what I mean? Oh,
yeah, he has that haircut. And then as slow as Venom moves, right, when he's a symbiote, like that's how the movie's going to me, man. As slow as Venom's moving as that slime shit, dude. Because I'm like, damn, where the hell is Venom? So then we see him, the symbiote version of him, and he's just like slowly going here, squashing around. He gets on Peter Parker's what's his bike or some shit, his backpack. He's still carrying a damn backpack. So anyway, so then he's there with Mary Jane, blah blah blah. They take off. He starts getting into him. So it gives him the power, which happens in the comics. He's super strong now. He's always been strong, but now he's very strong. Venom enhances his shit to where he's super fantastic. I'm like, okay, I'm pissed off in the theater about Harry Osborn. He's got
Amnesia.
He's got amnesia. You know, everything's okay. Bros for life again. Forget about it. And then all of a sudden, now we're just okay. Well, give me Venom. Well, no, we get that. I think we get Venom first. Then all of a sudden, when it cuts to him get on Peter Parker, we get Sandman. I was like, who? So then we get the I guess tragic story. He's a crook trying to there's another tragic villain, like another dude trying to help out. Like this time he's helping out his daughter, which is great. He's a good father, whatever. But at the same time, he's a criminal. He's a thug. You know, and it's nothing against the actor Thomas Hayden Church. He's a great actor. I've seen him in a ton of movies. Great, awesome dude. It's just the screenwriting. They made him too emotional. Now you got more villains. You got 3, but technically 2 because the the new Goblin is in an amnesia, so he's not active yet, but he's sitting back. Then you got Sandman, so he takes over the majority of the middle act, which he's the main villain, which I thought was a little clever. But then what I'm saying is he's too fucking emotional. So then he gets rid of Sandman when he's wearing that Venom suit. And he takes it out and the main thing. Well, let me finish the villain thing. So anyway, that, and then all of a sudden, after he's vanquished, we think, middle of the movie, into the second act, then Venom comes the third act. But then at the end, what they do? Team up. Okay, blah. Well, anyway, so what did you think of Sandman?
So remember they changed the freaking story on us. Remember now it was Uncle Ben. They brought the actor back, right? That played Uncle Ben. Now he's fucking 98 years old, bro. This dude is fucking. I was surprised this dude was still alive. I was like, this dude's still alive. Is that animated fucking fake face? But they bring the dude back. The guy can barely stand. He's so old, bro. And,
hey, whenever they have Sandman there, fucking before he shoots or whatever, Sandman's like literally holding him up, bro, for his parts. I hated that they retconned that.
Fucking holding the guy up. Don't fall down, old man. We got a scene here. Let's sell it. No.
I hated that they retconned the first one. And you know what? This third movie, where they retconned it, that thug didn't take him out. What does that do now? So now, okay. So they retconned it to where there was 2 guys that were robbing the joint or whatever. The other guy's waiting outside. He shoots him by accident.
And then leaves him.
Yeah, leaves him. And then retconned it. That takes away the emotional
connection
part of the story for me. When I watched the first one, I was thinking of the third one. For me to be cool with the first one like I used to be, I got to pretend part 3 never happened. That's the only way. Unfortunately, it happened. And I can't believe Sam Raimi's dim-witted ass had them change it, retcon it.
Yeah, and so, that was the other thing was Sam Raimi was trying to create or recreate that hate, that revenge mode.
Yeah, we were done with that already.
Yeah, so he wanted him to find out, and then I think it was some police officer, right? He said, no, this is the guy who killed your dad. Well, why did you arrest him? Why was he arrested on murder? Murder.
Cheesy. Yep, just like Batman and Robin. Remember when Commissioner Gordon comes out in his stupid back computer on the car, he's all Batman. A new villain has arrived. He's fighting everybody. The same crap. Basically, the cop tells him, that wasn't the guy that killed him. It was another guy. And that was so dumb. He's already struggling with the death of that guy. Like, I mean, the death of his uncle and then whatever. It's already crushed. Yeah. No. Then they got Sam Raimi, I guess, retcon it because he ran out of ideas with the screenwriter. He's in charge of it. He's a director. I'm going to stop blaming the screenwriter. I'm blaming Sam Raimi. He's a director, man. He's the head honcho. They couldn't think of something better. It don't have to be a personal vendetta with these villains, just make it the basic hero versus villain. That's it. It don't have to be personal with this guy. And I hate that everyone finds out this fucking guy's who he is. I think Sandman is the only one that doesn't find out who he is. Well, he sees his face towards the end, but still, I hated that everybody finds out who he is. Basically all his villains.
Yeah, and then they wanted, like you said, they wanted to make Sandman a tragic hero, whatever, a tragic villain. And then remember, like, when they found, he's telling his version of the story to Peter. He can tell him whatever, but Peter believes him. But they try to make it sad and sensitive or whatever because he was like holding the gun and then it went off accidentally. Come on, man.
You're gonna believe this criminal dude that this the bank robber, whatever the hell he was with that ugly ass striped shirt, dude. Comic book accurate though. It was for my daughter. All of a sudden, you're gonna listen to him. Like really? Yeah. Oh, can't believe you. Yeah, right.
It's like that old, if there's someone who's stealing bread for their family because they're starving, does it make it right? But no, this is even worse. This guy, he's sad. He needed the money for his daughter, and so he accidentally shot somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Like, just dumb.
And he's all nice about it, right? The flashback, just give me the car, old man. And then he's all, think about what you're doing, son. Think about it ain't the right way. What his teacher do? And then fucking that other dude jumps in the way and he shoots him like that. He falls down. It's so stupid. I hated that part, man.
And so the way, and you know what's funny was when it's all said and done with Sandman, they let him go scot-free. So he's known as the murderer of Uncle Ben. He's known. Oh, you're up, bro. Were you saying?
Oh, no, I got you.
No, and so he's known as the murderer of Uncle Ben. Accident or not, there needs to be a trial. It's murder. Okay, that's one. Then he's robbing banks. He hurt people. Oh, there's the one scene where he robs a bank. He comes out. Oh my God! I wanted to break my television, bro. There was a fucking truck with sand in it. Get the fuck out of here, bro! It's New York City. How many freaking trucks of sand are just posted around that fucking thing? It was like a fucking Olympic-sized swimming pool length, a truck, filled with sand. Bullshit, man. And oh my God, I hated that part. But so he's a convicted murderer. Remember, when you rob a bank, dude, FBI is involved. Mm-hmm. It's a federal crime, right? Mm-hmm. So he's Capital One murder, accident or not, fucking federal crime, and they let him walk away. Good. No, he's a good guy. He's got a daughter, everybody.
No, bro, he's a great guy, bro. He apologized from the heart, so let him go. So that's
exactly. Yeah, that's all you need, bro. You can go out, you can kill somebody on accident, air quotes, and then just tell the police, tell their family, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry what I did, and you know what? I was in the bottom of my shit, man, but now I'm on top of my shit. Oh, okay. And then you want the final battle to be, like Sandman shows. I don't want to fast forward too much. I just want to bring it out real quick before I forget. The damn battling of the tears bullshit in this movie, I was done with, man. That was the worst for me. I threw my arms and I was done.
So the first one, I know we mentioned Peter Parker, all the emotions, right? It was the death of the uncle. It was the obsession with the girl. It was the Green Goblin, all that pressure and stuff, right? The second one comes around. Now he's got the pressure of Doc Ock, which was one of his heroes, and completely let him down. So he's trying to stop him. He's trying to keep his friendship with Harry. And then even hardcore ulcer-creating obsession, with Mary Jane. And then now he's in this last one. He's got the girl of his dreams, but she fucking dumps him. And in the two, they're both obsessed with each other.
Mm-hmm. I can't stand that. She's just as obsessed as he is now, and I cannot stand that. And it's cringy. Like I'm just like covering my face, dude, and like literally wanted like. I mean, I can't imagine the theater. I can't remember how I felt. I just remember I was let down a lot of times.
I wanted to walk out. I was tired of it, bro. I was worn out, emotionally worn out.
Yeah, dude. I was like, man, what am I got to go watch a Disney movie now, man, to get a better mood.
Yeah. And then let's see. Then they're together. So I brought up the obsession for each other by the end of part 2 because it just wears off for her. She's like, I'm tired of you. You're never there for me. She knows he's fucking Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just shitty writing, man. It's the director, Sam Raimi, whatever you want to blame it on. It is just bullshit. And then he wanted to get married to her, but like I said, so there's that emotion, right? The breakup, and then now he's got he's juggling Harry, Sandman, Brock's trying to fucking set him up. you know, and you know, so now he's got 4 freaking. It was the most emotional one, and it was like you said, bigger, better. But he went bigger, better on emotions, man. It was like we don't need that. We need story. We want action. We want to know more about Spider-Man, not him dancing around with eyeshadow and Adolf Hitler haircut.
Oh yeah, when Venom does that to him, man, it's like he gives
Uh-huh.
him the superpowers, Spider-Man, like even more amplified. But then on his common days without being Spider-Man, he gets that ugly emo hairdo. He gets mascara on. He does those stupid dances and like dumb, dude. And then he slaps the shit out of Mary Jane on one scene, and I'm like, wow, that one I was pretty shocked at. I was like, how's he gonna come back from this one? You know, he fucking backhanded this bitch, you know, with his Spider-Man power, I'm assuming.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, there's no coming back from that, bro. Once you put your hands like that on a woman, that's it. It should be done forever. Never talk to her. You know, same shit again. To lure the spider, we got to get the bait. So let's get the stupid bitch that. This is where the villain's like, okay, like, they're going to get this bitch again, like, for him to save. Like, can't you get somebody else, Spider-Man? Like, can't the villains get somebody else? I mean, I don't know, dude. It's the same damn trope, same bullshit. The way Venom comes about when he meets Sandman, he's like, just real quick, hey, let's go get the spider or some bullshit what he says, and he agrees with it. You know, you want the spider, I want the spider. We could do it. What do you think? And he's like, okay. You know, and then that's it. Then they team up at the end, and it's like, come on. It just, you could tell they were giving up on this one. This is not as bad as Batman and Robin, but this was the downfall of the series. Like Batman and Robin was the downfall of you know, fucking Batman series. This was the downfall. The beginning of it was Spider-Man 2 to me. And it was not as bad as Batman Forever, but at the same time, it was, you could see it diminishing, in my opinion. But this one went all out bad. Like, every choice was bad. Everything. Like, golly. They introduced Gwen Stacy this time. You know, she was the captain's daughter. Kind of backwards, because he's supposed to get with Mary Jane later, but he gets with her before in the comics. But I mean, anyway, they could have did something new with that. Have that girl, have him and Mary Jane just stop it, and then him with this girl. The last thing I want is for him to get obsessed with this one too. That would have been horrible. I would have walked out, man. I didn't know reason I stayed was to get a refill of my popcorn and be in the lobby. That's it.
Yeah, because by part 3, he's got Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, and the Russian neighbor.
Oh yeah, that brings him the cookies.
You know, that are around, right? Throwing themselves at him.
But he chooses to be alone and fucking.
Yeah,
you know?
And then I didn't like the Eddie Brock goes to the church. Please God, kill Peter Parker. You know, Peter Parker. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man? That's not how it works, you idiot. Thou shalt not kill, you moron.
Yeah.
They had to put him near they had to put him near Peter Parker, wearing the symbiote, getting the bell rung where the shit fell off and fell onto him. And then it was. I thought it was okay. I mean, finally we're waiting. I could care less. To me, Sandman was a fucking headache. Harry was a fucking headache. New Goblin, headache. Headache. The love life, headache. His backstory, headache. His mascara days, headache. Everything was the highlight for me with that fucking movie in part 3 was Venom. He's finally Venom for the last 15 minutes of the damn movie, bro. 15 minutes, and it takes him. What's that? Oh no, very easy. Hardly an inconvenience, you know, to fucking kill the guy. He puts those poles in. I thought it was okay. It was very creative, and he goes around banging on the thing. The symbiotes jump off of him. He throws that bomb in there, and then fucking Eddie Brock jumps for it. Done. Wiped out. So now you got a never coming back Green Goblin, never coming back fucking Doc Ock, never coming back Venom. Jeez Louise, man.
But
killing
you
them
can
all.
get Sandman, bro. He could come back.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't go to jail. He's out and about. Fuck, he's at Disney World with the kids with the millions that stole from the fucking bank, man. Dumb bullshit, man. But you know,
we're gonna make some history, man. We just any convicts ever hear about us, they're gonna see we busted the code. All you gotta do is forgive from the bottom of your heart, and your life sentence is forgiven. Or if you're wanted, just tell the cops, "I'm so sorry, I don't mean it." Okay, and they'll let you go like a fart in the wind, like they do Sandman. So dumb. And real quick, I wanted to bring up, how did you feel about the big reveal on Norman Osborn's death? The fucking butler shows up, and before that happens, they have a conversation. Fucking finally, fucking Peter Parker and Harry Osborn, and this time he has the Venom in it, right? And he's like, "Oh, you killed my father. Oh, Green Goblin gonna cry, baby." They start fighting. Okay, so he's mad at him because his father's gone. Now he burns his damn face because he threw one of those pumpkin bombs at him, but he hits it back, and it bounces and it burns his face. So then, come on, man. There's no way in hell you're gonna be cool with this dude. You fucking deformed me now, bro. What the hell? Even though I was with ill intentions to take your life, but you did it to me. You know, and that's already done. It should have been done the first time that he's even talking to Spider-Man, this dude.
I know.
But then no, then he finds out he's Spider-Man. Now he's deformed. He'll never get pussy again, man. And I'm like, damn, dude, like he's done. I think money, yeah, right.
Yeah,
so
he's
anyway,
he's got money.
yeah. So, but it's still, dude, come on, man. They're like, he's there drinking, sipping on his scotch or whatever on the rocks, and then all of a sudden, this butler that had like 2 minutes of screen time in part one. I think he was serving fucking Norman Osborn his fucking hot green tea. Fucking shows up and tells him, "Oh, just to let you know, I'm sorry to be nosy, but putting in my 2 cents, but your father did die by his own glider. I saw it. Like I saw the wounds. They matched the glider from the thing. What?" And then he's like, "Oh, really? Okay, yeah." He's my friend. I knew it. I knew he would let me do it. What? Then there goes a new conflict of why didn't you talk to me, you asshole? And I still would have hated the dude.
Yeah, when I was crying in my bedroom every fucking night after my fucking funeral, you bastard.
Yeah. And it was that easy to convince him. That easy to convince Harry Osborn. He just died by his own glider.
Open.
Okay. He's over here on his glider. Fucking tag team. Bros for life. Fucking taking out Sandman and Venom, all this bullshit.
And think about this, dude. So here we are, we're talking about part 3, and when this happened in 2007, his father died in 2002. What? 5 years opportunities, dude. 5 years, 60 months opportunities, dude, to fucking tell this dude, Harry, the truth.
Yep. I was like, whatever. I was rolling my eyes. I was chugging the soda so I can go get a refill to find an excuse to get out of my seat because this movie is terrible, man. But at the same time, I'm remembering that I took my sister, my baby sister, to see it, so it's for her. So I'm like, fuck, I'm fucking annoyed at this movie, dude. I'm rolling my eyes. And then Venom, I love Venom. But what I hate about the Venom in this movie is the damn sound effect. He sounds like a baby dinosaur, a baby raptor, dude. I hate that sound effect. I hate it. That bullshit screeching. He doesn't make that shit, dude. I hated that. Ruined it. And then his mouth is tiny, dude. But like when it comes out, it doesn't get as big as in the comics or in the cartoon. Like I don't know why here's the thing. Sam Raimi, a bit of trivia on that. He hated Venom, dude. The studio said, look, there's a fan favorite villain called Venom. We want him in next. And then we didn't talk about him at all, but Sam Raimi is deciding to put in Dr. Connors, which is the lizard we'll get into next. He wanted, because remember, he built him up because he came on Spider-Man 2. So he was going to be the villain, but then the studio's like, no, we want Venom. Well, Sandman? Yeah, you can have Sandman. Okay, cool. No, we want Venom. Okay, well, there's Green Goblin in there too. Yeah, that's fine. You can put him in there too, but we want Venom. So he says he was forced to put in Venom because he's a fan favorite. And he hates the character of Venom. He came out and said it. He hates it. He hates that character.
Fans.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, so then he put him in the last, shoehorned him in. He had Eddie Brock in it, which Eddie Brock arguably probably had about maybe 20 minutes of screen time in a 2.5-hour movie, counting Venom. And so whenever we finally get to Venom, like you said, it's the last 15 minutes. But guess what? 15 minutes into the movie, counting credits, and then also the little bit of drama here and there. Like, so technically, I want to say Venom in costume, his form, is probably in the movie about maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, so
right at the end. He teams up with Sandman, and then they have that battle, and that's it. And then he gets blown to smithereens, and then that's it. And then all of a sudden, here we go. Harry's dying from Venom. Venom stabbed him with his own glider. Well, by accident, because he tried to stab Peter Parker. Here we go with the shit again. The cheap-ass costume ripped up the same way with his eye missing, the eye part missing. And then dies, ironically, right, by his own glider. But Venom did it this time. So anyway, he's dying. Venom's vanquished. And then Sandman shows up, and he's about to pulverize him. You could tell. He's got his hand like this, knuckle. And all of a sudden, it turns to sand. He's like, oh, we're having a loss. Maybe it's time we apologize. He just committed murder with this guy. He robbed banks. He was about to kill Spider-Man when he was smashing him into smithereens with that giant fan thing. Here he did. Then all of a sudden he stops. And then all of a sudden the final battle is apologies and tears. the
Mhm.
most sensitive superhero I ever met in my life. So I remember they're all crying. They're
Mhm.
crying. Mary Jane's crying. Fucking Goblin's crying. Fucking this dude's crying. Spider-Man and Sandman. I think he had a couple of tears come out, and then he just disappears like fucking an angel, bro, into heaven. He flies away, fart in the wind, and that's it. And it's done. And I was so dumbfounded by this movie. I hated it, and it ruined the love I had for the first one.
Oh, I know. And no, you're right, man. Something you said earlier, and now of course I'm forgetting, but no, you're spot on. It was a complete failure. But overall, I think we both agree that it was the worst of the series. You've already talked about the music, Christopher Young, um, effects. Effects were okay. I mean, as normal. That's what I was going to say. So you were saying that Sam Raimi was forced to have Venom in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did. Even though he made the fan favorite 5 minutes in that whole movie, he rolled the hell out of mascara Spider-Man for like, I don't know, 45 minutes. We had
Yes.
this weirdo woman beater. How come he wasn't arrested? Right? It's assault.
Yeah.
But
He'd be
anyway,
behind bars.
end of movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm good. I'm good with that one, dude. I'm ready to do the Amazing Spider-Man. If there's nothing else that you have,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, real quick, what did you think of the score for the third one?
to be honest, dude, I can't barely remember it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you said it was going to be Christopher Young, right?
Yeah, Christopher Young, and then
Yeah.
Danny Elfman had the basic
Open.
theme. That's what they kept. So he got a little bit of chunk change for that one, the theme, and that was it. So because they already had this theme, but like, yeah, Christopher Young, I think in my opinion, he did a good job for what he was given. I mean, it's catchy, but it's you know what it is. Why I do prefer it over Danny Elfman's because it's a breath of fresh air. It is different. It's unique. Because Danny Elfman's already using the same shit already, and it's like, yeah, I think Sam Raimi had a point. He's using the same shit, you can only recycle too much, But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed his tunes. They're pretty cool, and I liked it. But other than that, I have nothing else to say about the third movie.
Yeah, honestly, just recommend to the fans out there. I mean, if you just want to complete the series, I mean, it's got some interesting concepts in the movie, right? It's a big-time Hollywood movie, so they're going to get some things right. But overall, if it's date night and it's a choice between Spider-Man 3 and watching, I don't know, fucking Batman Forever, I'd rather watch Batman Forever.
Oh wow!
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'd rather go. Rearrange my sock drawer. How about that?
I'd rather go do laundry.
Go do laundry, mow the yard. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, transitioning over to the Amazing Spider-Man 2012. Now you got a new director, still Sony Pictures, but now you have a new director, Mark Webb. Ironically, Webb, and new Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, who I think is the best Spider-Man. He had the look. He's probably in his 20s, but he's not 30 like fucking Tobey Maguire or whatever.
Right.
And he brings a good concept of the playful. There's Stevie. Playful and nitpicking, right? Kind of like that Deadpool, but PG-13 Deadpool, where he's joking and being a smart aleck. That's what I was trying to say. Smart aleck.
Yes.
With anybody and everybody out in in the movies. But no, I love the concept. One thing I'm gonna start off with on this one was I love the backstory. They really went above and beyond on the father and the mother, especially the father, and how brilliant he was. It was kind of like a Tony Stark kind of thing, if you think about it, how brilliant he was, and but his moves and his decisions when he was still alive affect Peter Parker in the future and Oscorp, right, that he worked for. And just super awesome. They even tied in where you don't find this out until part 2, but he inserted his DNA into the little super spiders. And so, and I don't know the full backstory, but we try to make it to where if the spider only bites a relative of the father, then they get all the power.
I see. It can't just be any dude off the street, right?
Right. And you know, matter of fact, if I do remember the backstory, it was his protection mode, his security, his safeguard. The safeguard, the father's safeguard to protect in case Oscorp wanted to abuse it, which they end up trying to do anyways. But long story short, I love the background. It's very mysterious. To me, I think that was a home run because you have all this drama in the Sam Raimi movies, and he's creating drama out of thin air, right? I mean, the Uncle Ben thing is wrong, but the whole thing with Mary Jane, whatever, it's all this extra drama created out of thin air. Even his hatred for the Sandman story, who killed his father, and the other guy who killed his father, just made up bullshit. But now you have, now you have this story, this in-depth story that's, to me, kind of like National Treasures. Nicolas Cage's like there's little things that lead to a secret, or there's little coins that were in a calculator that he could use. And I know that's part 2, but the Amazing Spider-Man part 2, I should say. But there's all these little things that he's uncovering, right? I think he uncovers a file inside his old briefcase, dad's old briefcase. So I love that, story. I love how there's like that mystery and how things connect. It's very well written. I love that about it. But go ahead, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, no, you're right with the backstory of the parents, because we never heard about the parents before. So that was interesting. I just hate that they left us hanging. Like, we never found out until the sequel what happened, right? And, overall, I love that there's still drama, but nothing as severe as the Sam Raimi verse. Nothing that close. And, of course, the only drama I could think of is, like, what mainly is the death of Uncle Ben again, which is okay, whatever. It's a reboot. And then you have the drama with Gwen Stacy. Not dramatic like it was in the other movies, but, like, he's got to choose. Once the father finds out who he is, he makes them that promise. I'm not trying to fast forward, but just real quick. I'm just bringing up the drama part of the movie. Mm-hmm. Is that, the big choice he has to make at the end, and then the lizard running amok, which I'll bring up about Spider-Man. And this is nitpicking, though. See, now, I stayed away from this movie for a while because I tried to watch it when it first came out on video, and I checked out by the time he's riding his skateboard in the warehouse with his new powers. I started checking out whenever he got bit by the spider, and he's in a subway train, and he's, like, touching everything, and it sticks to him, and, like, which I don't mind. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty creative. But then I hated that he, like, karate kicks these dudes while he's doing that. Like, all of a sudden he knows kung fu and all this bullshit. I didn't like that. Talk about Tobey Maguire's hairdo in the third one. I hated Andrew Garfield's hairdo on the first and second Amazing Spider-Man, to be honest. Like, I wanted him to get a haircut. That's nitpicking, though. But overall, as like, there's not much drama, which I love. It's a breath of fresh air, which is great. So I went into this one watching, I was like, wow, like, this is good. Sally Field, I love that actress. And then Martin Sheen, another great actor that plays Uncle Ben this time. But at the same time, I noticed something, and we'll get into it whenever we make a show about the Tom Holland verse Spider-Man. And what's her name? Mary Jane. Aunt May, she's getting younger and hotter. But Uncle Ben is the same damn age, 85 years old. I'm like, what the hell? Because she's up in age. She's in her 70s, but she looks great for 70s, man. She's beautiful.
It's funny that you mentioned. I don't remember an Uncle Ben on the Tom Holland ones. I could be wrong.
No, there's not.
And, no,
it's Iron Man, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say. No, but it's something that you said. You go again. Remember the way you said that, right? Uncle Ben dies again, and I think they felt the same way. They said, "Well, let's just eliminate the story. We all know the story. Why have another Uncle Ben? Pay another guy $1 million to play Uncle Ben just to get shot in the face." And we all get the origin story, so let's just jump into. Now that's the Tom Holland that we're talking about. But going back, no, you're right. It's very different. So now, real quick, one thing you said when he's on the train station, he does all the kung fu. To me, I just tie that into the spider sense.
Mm.
It's not that he knows kung fu; it's just his body reacting with the spider sense.
Oh, I guess.
He senses that someone's throwing something at him, a bottle, his fist, a foot, and he reacts. Yeah, it's kind of far fetched a little bit. I could see that, but I just think that it's like and you know, it might be a little extreme because he can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can't control it. It's a brand new power he's never had before, a new reaction. I mean, he's catching basketballs at school and doing certain things, you know, so.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I love that he used his talent with that. And that's another thing. We didn't talk about the Sam Raimi verse, but this one, I love the spider sense in this one. Because in the first one, when he's confronted by Flash Thompson, the bully, he punches him and it's like in slow motion. He's like, ooh, you know, like that.
Mhm.
So I'm like, that's a spider sense? Like, to his mind, it's slow motion. How is this dude ever going to get hit? So in the first movie, when he gets hit around, I'm like, that's bullshit, because the spider sense shows us that it's in slow motion to him. Now this one is like a sense, it's like a flash, real quick, and then he reacts fast. Now that's believable now that this dude can take a beating, because the spider sense is awesome in this series, where it's just like that, you know, because early on in the Sam Raimi verse, it's telling me this guy can't get hit, but then he gets hit all of a sudden. And I think it's even in slow motion when Green Goblin's finding him at the last battle. I'm like, what the fuck? Just move out of the damn way. But that's what I loved about this one, is the spider sense was just that flash, and right away he reacts. That's cool. You know, our senses, when we react to stuff, it isn't like everything's in slow motion now and we're moving all that. No, it's a damn counter reaction to an effect that's happening to us. We're going to react like that, not in slow motion. It's not going to be slow motion to us. That's what I hated about Sam Raimi's fucking spider sense.
No, that's well put, bro. No, I didn't even think of that, but you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And but no, so in this one you have the villain is the lizard.
Ooh, yeah.
Connors, what do you think?
See, this is the thing. I'm a fan of the actor. The actor is a great actor. It's just the character to me is, and hopefully we won't talk about it, but unfortunately we will, because they're making a Kraven the Hunter movie. He's one of the D-lister villains to me, bro, because he's just a damn amphibian. He's a dude that turned into this thing. The story's interesting. He's a scientist, another tragic villain that is trying to do good for the world, and he's an amputee as well. So he's testing on these mice, stuff like that. Everyone's dying except for this one that he named Freddy. He's a white lab rat. And which I'll bring up a scene a little bit, made me laugh. So that thing lives and it grows its appendage back. He's like, okay, so then he tested on himself because he loses everything. Excuse me. I can't remember the guy's name. That one guy that kicks him out of his office. He's on his ass about helping Norman Osborn of this universe to get a cure for his disease because he's dying. So anyway, he injects the lab rat, everything's fine. So then he injects himself. So that's cool, right? That's awesome. He grew a new limb, but the side effects are he turns into this lizard. Another Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde villain to me. And that's always been this villain though, you know, and I've never liked the villain. He looked cool in the cartoon, but then I never liked him. But then when I saw him live action in the movie, I really didn't like him because you said offline, bro. He looks like a Goomba from Super Mario Brothers, a live action film. And he does, man, except with a big head, a regular size head. I can't stand that.
He's missing.
And then they're trying to do that. Yes, yeah. He's just like an ape or some shit. Like, what?
No, you're right. No. I agree. I see. I didn't mind the lizard. And you know, this is funny because you mentioned in Spider-Man 3 that Sam Raimi wanted the lizard.
Yes.
But if you think about it, the lizard has a backstory just like freaking Doc Ock, if you think about it.
Exactly.
You know, he's another well-respected scientist making a breakthrough, Nobel Peace Prize level, highly admired by Peter Parker. And then he becomes a villain, and then Peter Parker and Spider-Man's got to whoop his ass. It's the same. Yeah. So it made sense to not have the lizard in part 3 for Sam Raimi's. This one here, they couldn't have a Green Goblin because that was the first character that Sam Raimi had. So they needed something new. Sam Raimi had the Venom, and he had Green Goblin and Doc Ock. So remember, those are, like you said, his arch nemesis, right there, top 3. And so this guy, his back's against the wall, right? Mark Webb, the director, and he's thinking, how do I make something new? Like every, basically I'm trying to fix something that is broke.
Mm-hmm.
But not only am I trying to fix it from not scratch, but in the middle of this process, but now I have to tread on eggshells because I can't use these villains because I don't want the same take. How do I make my own stamp? So,
Right.
and
That's what I enjoyed, to be honest. Like, yeah, his back
yeah,
was against the wall, like you said, but I enjoy seeing new villains on screen, even though it
right.
doesn't match up to the character of Spider-Man and the time he met these villains in his time frame, his lifetime. But
Yeah.
it's good to see new villains. And no matter if you enjoy the movies or not, even the Tom Holland ones, each movie gave you a different villain. That's what I love. We get a chance. We're
Mhm.
not recycling villains,
Yes.
Even when we get to the second movie, we'll bring it up again of Green Goblin Returns, but it's a different type of goblin,
Mm-hmm.
whole different character. So I thought that was pretty creative.
Absolutely. So, but like I said, so you have once again you have the lizard. I thought the main actor was good. Then he snaps. He turns into this lizard, and his whole concept is to turn everybody into a lizard.
Yes.
I don't. I
Right.
didn't get that. I didn't.
That
Obviously.
was the big reveal. That's where I was like, "Come on, man!"
Yeah.
That's the thing. Though. Lizard's always been to me like that type of threat. He's like on a scale of like 1 to 10. He's like probably like a brown arrow, like a fucking level 6. He wants to do stupid shit like that. Like, just lock this bastard up in a fucking zoo, and that's it, dude. Like, and this, they try to do that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, but at the same time, I felt he was conscious because he talked. But then they try to play that same bullshit where that voice is in his head, like Green Goblin on the first film. I'm like, this is the same. Yeah. You're trying to stay away from Sam Raimi, yet you're borrowing as well. Because the trivia for this one was they were going to make a Spider-Man 4, and Sam Raimi wanted the lizard again, but then they were like, nah, well, we want to do something else. Then he's like, okay, well, here's my plot outline, and he came out with the outline with the screenwriter. He turned it in. And to Sony, they read it. They're like, okay, so the villains were going to be the Vulture and the Vultress, which is a female villain, which isn't in the comics. So it's going to be a brand new villain, I believe. I haven't heard of Vultress. And then it's going to be they already started casting people. John Malkovich is going to be the Vulture. And then what's her name from Batman Dark Knight Rises that played Catwoman?
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about.
She was going to play the Vultress. Spider-Man again, and so they were like, nah, we don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, you know what? We're just going to reboot it. They're like, oh, okay. So they reboot it, and what's ironic, a kick to the face of Sam Raimi, they used his lizard idea, and they made the lizard the villain this time.
Oh.
But then I was like, oh, man, but that's always been Lizard. He's always, like, cheesy. I've never felt threatened by Lizard, to be honest. Like, Kraven the Hunter, I wanted to bring up, is a D-list, Z-list villain to me. I hated him in the cartoon. In the comics, like, I barely read the comics, but I mean, I hated his character. This stupid dude in, like, leopard outfit. I hope we never talk about him. But anyway,
hopefully
that's the same category as Lizard to me, is this dude. Not as bad as that dude, but, this the same category.
Right.
But whatever. But like you said, what's the big deal? Like, why does he want to turn people into lizards? I didn't get that.
Yeah, and you mentioned a key word, threat, right? About being a threat, right? You define it as a D-lister. So not trying to go backwards, but go to Spider-Man 2 in Sam Raimi's verse. What was Doc Ock's overall plan? Did he want to make that little sun so big it consumed the world?
No, he wanted it to help the world, actually.
Well, yeah, right. So he wanted to help the world. So that's, like I said, I'm not trying to go backwards. I'm going to get to a point here, but so he's trying to help the world when he was a human. The thing on his back, the enabler, blows up. Now he can't control the things, which he can control. Who knows? Anyways, but what was his master plan? We don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Right. So to me, and he's an arch nemesis. It's just, like I said, just shitty, poor screenwriting and directing. Okay. Now you fast forward to the movie we're talking about, Amazing Spider-Man Part 1. Now you have the Lizard. At least he had a master plan. And I'll give him credit for that. But like I said, he did look like a fucking Super Mario Brother Goomba. He didn't look like a lizard. He looked like an ape with scales or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what? To me, I think they gave us. He's got that little flirting with Gwen Stacy, but not an obsession.
Right, that's what I loved. It was a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air, man. It was
Yeah.
flirting, no obsession, man. Nothing.
Right.
Even when Uncle Ben died, it wasn't too dramatic. He like mumbled a little bit. He had tears right here in his eyes. That was it.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. You know.
Oh yeah, and
I
I
was
can
like,
start from there. Yeah, he didn't go overboard chewing his uncle's ass out before he died. It wasn't
Yeah.
a super embellished death scene for Uncle Ben. There was a normal scene. It wasn't that, like you said, cringeworthy flirting like in the Sam Raimi verse. This was like, okay, I could see this as a normal flirting. He ends up getting her at the end, and then he's a smart alecky, fun, uplifted Spider-Man version. And now he doesn't have the natural web shooters. Now it's in his he has that little wristband, right?
Yeah.
But, no, just super cool. I think it was great. And then of course now he's coming out to battling the Lizard. I know he wanted to take photos and so he could make money for the newspaper. Lizard, and then he has the little name tag, Peter Parker. So easy. Figures out that the Lizard figures out who's Peter Parker is Spider-Man or whatever.
Yeah.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah, that was, man.
And then, but like I said, it has that great backstory. Like you said, it doesn't tell us how the parents died, but it was more focused on connecting the dad's decisions in the past, as when Peter Parker was a child, to it connects to when he's an adult. So I thought that was great. But let's see here. Soundtrack. What do you think about the soundtrack?
I was pretty pleased. I didn't get the composer's name, but I was like, wow, it's actually standing out. But it was a good soundtrack.
I thought it was pretty good. To me, I think there's a lot of opportunities where people they don't think about it, they don't miss. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not as memorable as Danny Elfman's. I was just saying that. I can't even remember it. Is it catchy and good? Yeah, I'm sure it is. Like I said, I can't remember off the top of my. But I know it's going to be good. It's not going to be crap. Now, kind of going back on the Lizard Bros. So his master plan was to turn everybody into lizards. He actually turns in a few security guards into lizards.
I remember that
transformation. That was kind of creative. And then there's two deaths. There's Gwen Stacy's dad, the chief of police, who I thought was crazy that he's always in uniform, and every time the phone rings, he's out the door. He's getting picked up by a police car. That's not how it works. He's a police chief. They have people on duty. I thought that was dumb. That probably would have prevented him dying. Mm-hmm. And then, when he dies, he makes Andrew Garfield or Peter Parker promise that he'll stay away from Gwen. Mm-hmm. And that becomes a big, obstacle or challenge, problem like kind of we've been talking about. It makes sense. I think, and I'll go into it more, but I think they go overboard on that a little bit, right? That promise, like, geez, let it go.
Like, come on, man. Yeah, just let it go, dude.
And then the Lizard's death. Do you remember that?
What death? Because he didn't die. He went to that crazy house or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So he tried to save. And then all of a sudden he turned like a good. Same thing with the Dark Wolf, right? He turns into a good guy at the end.
I didn't get that. I was like, what the hell? Why would he grab him at the end? Like, what the hell's happening? And then like he's even like he just goes to the crazy house, and that's it. I'm like,
but at least he didn't die though. Well, I mean, like you were saying, right? They're killing off characters. Maybe it was plans to have him come back, but that's dumb though because he finishes as a good guy. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be a good guy, and then you got to retcon it to where he's still evil. And I don't even like Lizard, so I wouldn't be in the theater house, man. And I'm waiting for some real villains to come in,
But no, and like I said, Andrew Garfield and the actress that played Gwen Stacy. I can't remember her name.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, thanks. They were dating at that time.
Oh, that's right.
So when you see their connection in the movie, it's believable because it is real.
Right. Yep.
And that was amazing. Yeah. So there's better writing, and like I said, Mark Webb's back was against the wall. So some of the things that I know dislike, or maybe you're not too motivated about, it's because his back was against the wall. No excuses for him. It is what it is. But like I said, I like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I love the story. I love the the relationship he had with Gwen Stacy. They got rid of Mary Jane because it was overkill. Like I said, his back was against the wall. They literally had to get rid of Mary Jane completely because Sam Raimi overkilled it. There's no way he could have them in any semi-relationship, dating, flirting, looking at each other. He completely erased it from the fucking Spider-Man world because of Sam Raimi. Overkill.
Yeah. It was overkill out the ass. Oof.
But he
It was
had
like shooting the dog dead and then running over his remains. Like there's a lot on the freeway.
So I thought that was cool. But I mean, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's just the thing is, whenever Mark Webb went into this, they said they wanted to stay as far away from Sam Raimi's vision as possible. So the only reason that neutered that, in my opinion, was because Sam Raimi's first movie was so comic book accurate. So the famous saying is, with great power comes great responsibility, what Uncle Ben says. Well, they didn't use it this time. Uncle Ben kind of said like a big old sentence, oh, well, you got certain powers to help people out. It's your responsibility to be the good Samaritan and do it. Like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but they switched it around. And then, Uncle Ben, I don't know if he tried to be a hero or some shit. Whenever that fucking thug that gave Peter Parker that chocolate milk and took that cash, fucking, he's running, he trips and he falls. The gun's there. Like, Uncle Ben's gonna grab the gun. Really?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was dumb to me, man. It wasn't as impactful as the first one. Like, we already agreed that it's too sensitive, the first movie, but certain things I roll with. It just goes overboard the Mary Jane bullshit. But I mean, man, I was like, oh, but I hated that Uncle Ben tried to go for the gun, because if I'm a thug and I'm running my gun, I trip and I fall, and there's a stranger there that's gonna go for my gun, that's telling me that my life's threatened. That he's gonna get up that gun and shoot me. That's how I felt. The thug felt threatened, because why the hell does idiot go for the gun? And then of course he shoots him, whatever, gets out of his way. That happens. So anyway, that was it. I didn't like it. And then also the villain, terrible villain in my opinion. I never liked Lizard, any incantation, whatever. But I do love the actor though. He's a good actor. And I love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I just couldn't get over his big hair. And then when he puts on the outfit, I'm like, how is that hair not showing out of the mask? Like, because it's so big. Like, just get a fucking haircut, bro. I mean, because, I'm not used to it, that bushy hair. But other than that, I'll say it right now. I mean, and I've always been on the track with it. But today, they confirmed it when I finally sat down and saw Amazing Spider-Man. I kind of disliked the movie, but I enjoyed it. We'll get to our rankings at the end of the video. But anyway, I'll tell you this right off the bat. Andrew Garfield is the main Spider-Man to me. He is.
Yeah.
I need to revisit Tom Holland, but at the same time, he's the best, I think, in my opinion. And it's a tragedy to me when the credits rolled on this movie that this series had to get rebooted again.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy to me now. I was always on the fence that this guy was the best, but after sitting down and watching Amazing Spider-Man, did I like the movie better? Yeah. A lot better? No. But I love Andrew Garfield. And I feel if you were to get stuff from mixture of part one's elements of the story and then Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man and elements from this one, you would have the definitive Spider-Man movie. The best one.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep. No, I agree. And I'm gonna bring that back up later. And like I said, we're not gonna do the Tom Holland verse,
Right.
but I want to bring up some points kind of containing some of that later on. But real quick, if there's nothing left, Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man Part 2. Do you want to do that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so The Amazing Spider-Man Part 1 was 2012. Amazing Spider-Man Part 2 is 2014. Still director Mark Webb, Sony Pictures, and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. This time we introduced 3 villains, believe it or not. And I can't remember the Russian name that played the guy who played Rhino.
Yeah, I can't remember the
small little
character's
bit. I cannot believe that they finished that movie where he doesn't fight that guy. You know what I mean? Oh,
I know, yeah.
I think they should have used that scene in the beginning. Now remember that Russian guy's driving a big, semi truck, and he's wrecking into things, this, that, and the other. And he ends up getting arrested. They should have had it where he was the Rhino. I think in the beginning, and then at least there's some closure on that character. But they literally midway through beating up the Rhino, it goes right into credits. And then they reboot the fucking movie, so we don't even know anything about the Rhino. And I'm not gonna lie, I was so interested in it. right?
Me too. I was interested in Rhino more than Electro or the new Goblin, the Green
Or
Goblin.
the Lizard.
I was interested in Rhino because, damn, that's the new villain, right? Electro's the new villain. I wasn't really too pumped. But when I saw that Rhino was in, I was like, oh, Rhino's badass, dude. He's in that suit.
Yeah, he's like the X-Men villain Juggernaut.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so to me, I would have rather had him as a lead bad guy than the Lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Or the
And Paul
Lizard.
Giamatti, he's another great actor, man. I'm surprised
Yeah.
they even got him for the role
Mhm.
and such small part. You
Yeah.
know?
So there's that, and then like I said, the other two villains was the introduction of Electro, and now the Green Goblin. Within the Green Goblin, but Electro was probably the main villain in the movie. His backstory is, and you said it best, like the Batman Forever, the Riddler, right? This dude, the Riddler, Edward Nygma, who plays the Riddler, he had an obsession with Bruce Wayne, just as this guy, and I can't remember his human name, but the guy who played Electro, I know it's Jamie Foxx, but I'm saying his character's name before he becomes Electro, had this huge obsession with Spider-Man. Spider-Man bumps into the guy, helps him get his schematics or whatever it was, and sees his name tag and says his name. Now he
it was Max something.
Was it Max? That's right.
Max.
Yeah. So it was Max, and the guy's like, "Oh wow!" So some weird loser that has no social skills, but they gave him a job at Oscorp. You know what I mean? So it seemed like he was a big time scientist. But anyways, I thought it was so dumb his origin story. Oh my god! Now I'm a big fan of the Amazing Spider-Man series, even more than the Tom Holland. Tom Holland series. I'll get into that later on why that doesn't have the edge for me. But the Amazing Spider-Man series to me is better than the Sam Raimi one. I like it better. But it's the villains are not as good. They don't have they don't have
weird, right?
Yeah, but the Electro, remember, he falls into that tank with all the ills. So to me, I'm getting like essence of like Catwoman. Batman Returns, Catwoman, where the cats bite him, or bite her.
Mm-hmm.
And this was he gets electrocuted, and all the ills electrocute him. I'm like, oh man.
Man, that thing would have disintegrated that dude. That's the only thing about that part. When I watched it, I was like, ooh, man.
Yeah, it would stop your heart.
His ashes are disappeared now, bro. That's what should have happened, dude. But no, he comes out like that thing, and ooh, man.
Yeah, I did not, and I don't remember the comic book origin story for the guy.
Yeah, neither do I, to be honest.
This was dumb. I couldn't. I was like, okay. Like to me, I was like, I wasn't like wow or amazed or excited about it. I was just like, okay, whatever. So now he's Electro, and then he starts out. He's a dipshit with his powers, right? He doesn't know what the hell to do with his powers, and then kind of stumbles across getting more energy and throwing cops and police cars around, and then they finally contain him, right? And then he gets tortured by Oscorp, his old company. I don't know. It's just kind of like missed opportunities here.
Was that dude like a Nazi or some shit? They try to say that dude was a Nazi. The way he talked, it's so simple, and the villain be pleased with your power. You shall light up Germany like Christmas time. He just had that damn accent, dude. Like he was up to no good, and then he was torturing the poor guy, And to stay on Electro, what I hated was that he was obsessed with Spider-Man. I hated that shit because we got that shit with Batman Forever, and I don't know if they kind of try to, I don't know, like you said, no social skills whatsoever. This dude should have no business working for a big ass fucking corporation like Oscorp. This dude should be a homeless dude or something else. Like, I don't know, not trying to offend anybody, but I'm just saying, like, he has no social skills. And he's obviously sick in the head. He gets obsessed with Spider-Man because he picks up his schematics and he fucking fixes ugly part over hair, and he called my name, and he gets so excited. I don't know if it's kind of like a homoerotic type of thing that he has for Spider-Man. I feel like they're trying to give us those little sexual undertones underneath the carpet, and it makes me uncomfortable. Just the fact that why is he so obsessed with him? I want to know why. What does Spider-Man do? I understand you're a fan of him, like you're a fan of a celebrity. Oh, that's one of my favorite actors. I love that actor. But at the same time, you're not gonna like drool over him and like make it your life's work just to have posters and pictures like people do. But I'm talking, this guy had everything. He was obsessed. Thought that they had a relationship on a personal note.
Mm-hmm.
which got on my nerves. That's bullshit. That's Edward Nygma, Batman Forever. You know?
Yeah. No, you're right. And kind of tying in the backstory, with Electro, he has this obsession, and like you said, he ends up getting captured, and then he gets released by Harry Osborn. Right? They kill off Norman Osborn really quick, and it was played by Cooper, who's a good actor. And they killed him off quick. Right? He had some weird skin disease that turned into cancer or something weird, and then the son has it.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, long story short, yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of things that you said about the whole thing with Lecter. Yeah, he wasn't all there in the head, and I don't know. I just feel like there was a missed opportunity. But once he gets hot and heavy, right? Because what was it? Spider-Man is really not his friend or some shit, right?
Yeah, that's what sets him off. He didn't
That's
remember
dumb.
his name. You don't remember my name? And then
Yeah.
that's what started all the drama.
Dumb. So that was terrible. And then like we introduced. So there's a backstory with Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn, who's a huge character, right? Who's the Green Goblin, literally the Green Goblin, and is played by a great actor. Has little to barely any screen time. There is no Green Goblin from that sense. He just dies. They could have done the same story, I think. But using Harry, or excuse me, Norman, the father, but they kill him off, and then I can't remember who it was. One of the coworkers, the evil board member who takes over for Harry. Remember, he sets him up and gets fired. He was the one that says, "Looks like you're running out of time." And he sees the little shit on his neck or whatever. So Harry, the son, wants Spider-Man's blood. He automatically connects the dots and says, wait a minute, this guy Spider-Man had to have been bitten by one of our spiders and survived. There's no connection on that. But somehow he figures it out, sees on the bottom of the newspaper that Spider-Man's photo was taken by Peter Parker. So he asks his good old friend from high school, which they don't even have that much of a backstory.
Right, they don't.
Right, so it's not like the Sam Raimi one where they did have they're together in high school. It's noticeable. They're graduating together. They're this, they're that together. I mean, you see that friendship building, and he tells that. That's probably one of the positive things that Sam Raimi did do was tell that story and connect the dots so he could use Harry Osborn. But in this one, there is no connection. Seems like the dude Harry just calls up Peter Parker out of the blue. They're acquaintances. They know each other. I don't see them hanging out, so they're not close.
Yeah, there's not close whatsoever, man. Like Sam Raimi had that connection. He had 2 movies, and then the third one to make him a villain, which was great,
Right.
And unfortunately, he fucked himself over because he took the amnesia route, which was stupid, But this one is like they're friends, but there's no connection. I don't feel the connection at all, and it's no fault of the actors. They're both great actors. It's the fault of the screenwriting. I don't know if they tried to rush out a Goblin. We needed a Goblin for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I mean, there's other Goblins. I mean, they already introduced the Lizard. Might as well go all out. They have Electro. Just do Hobgoblin,
Right. No, that would have been cool. And then, so then, because you're right, they're not even that close. Then he gets Peter Parker there. To me, he's treating him like he's an employee. He's like, well, you know him. Give me Spider-Man. So I can get his blood. So, obviously it's the dumbest, weirdest thing you could ever imagine. So Peter says, no, I'm not going to do it, right? Whatever, right? He leaves. So now this dude, Harry, is obsessed with killing Spider-Man because he refused to give his blood. Well, because that's the thing. I take it back. Honestly, I made a mistake. So Peter Parker said, let me see what I can do. And then he obviously gets in a Spider-Man suit, goes to Harry Osborn's place. That's when he tells him, no, I don't think so, and then disappears. So then that's what builds or creates that hatred for Harry Osborn and Spider-Man is because you're supposed to help people, and you're not helping me by giving me your blood. Are you out of your mind, dude? That's
right.
dumb. So anyways, long story short, Because if anything, they could look at the DNA and they could find out it was Peter Parker. If you think about
Yeah, they could actually.
So obviously that's a good point of not to give his blood. But anyway, so long story short, Harry Osborn looks into an old project, special projects, gets the old venom from those spiders that was extracted before they shut down that operation, and injects it into himself, and becomes a fucking creature. After he releases Electro and teams up with the guy. Then, like I said, takes the venom and finds all this gear. And what's cool, they show the special room. It's got the rhino suit, it's got the vulture's wings, Doc Ock's arms and whatnot. So it introduces that, which is pretty cool. And then, like I said, one of the rooms had the board that he likes to fly, right? The jet board or whatever it's called. And, anyways, long story short, Harry Osborn mutates. He mutates into a real freaking goblin. The long, ugly nose, the ears, the teeth, and he's
the skin coloration, like everything.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, what do you think about the comparison between Sam Raimi's Green Goblin and this one?
That is crazy, man. Because this is what I wanted on the first one with this Green Goblin. I wanted Willem Dafoe in the makeup. Now, ironically, we had Willem Dafoe in makeup, and then this versus this actor, like, of course, I'm a bigger fan of Willem Dafoe. He's made a ton of movies. This guy's a young dude, but at the same time, I believe his name is Dane DeHaan. He's a great actor as well. So it would have been an easy pick to go Willem Dafoe with the not the costume, the makeup goblin look. But since they use that stupid helmet, I'm going with this Green Goblin. I think this one's a better one.
Yeah.
But what sucks is it's not the traditional one. Eventually, later on, Harry does become Green Goblin. He takes up the mantle after his dad dies. But they kind of like staying away from Sam Raimi, so they didn't use Norman Osborn, which is crazy. Threw me right onto left field. I was like, whoa. But they brought in the Son. They fast forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Son's not New Goblin. He's Green Goblin. And I thought that was pretty awesome that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
So between the two, I just go Willem Dafoe because I love Willem Dafoe. But at the same time, I love the way he looks is this one. Plus, this one's a great actor as well.
Yeah.
They're the same alter ego, but completely different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said was right. The friendship or the relationship between him and Peter Parker was not established. I didn't buy into it. To me, I feel like they were business partners. That type of relationship. I didn't feel any sentimental value. If they would have had the sentimental value like the Harry Osborn of the Raimi verse, I mean, damn, dude, they talk about an emotional battle that
Mm-hmm.
these guys, they would have put so much into this fight because you believe that these two guys used to be brothers, and then now look what happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this would have been so much more like, wow, they're really going at it. It would have been a deadly fucking thing to go through.
Right. No, you're right. And well put. Yeah, the thing is, I can't remember the kid's the actor, the kid that played him, does a great job. I mean, you believe it. His hatred. It's kind of like a weak backstory. I think that's what you and I agree on. But at the same time, once he becomes the Green Goblin, he plays it very well. He's got the hatred, and but he, what was it? So Electro, when Spider-Man's fighting Electro, he gets help from Gwen Stacy, who knows he's Spider-Man. So yeah, she finds out after the first movie. We forgot to mention that, but here's the second movie. She knows Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and she comes up with the plan, right, to demagnetize and take him out. So I thought that was right. Demagnetize his web shooters, so the Electro can't blow him out like little batteries, and the plan to capture Electro. So I thought that was great, very great. And basically overloading his ass until he fucking exploded. So boom, done. And then you had the Green Goblin, who do you remember how he passes? How he dies?
Yeah, same thing like Lizard. He just shows up at that crazy house. But when he shows up, you say you bought it, right? That he put two and two together, that Gwen Stacy was there and that Peter Parker Spider-Man, or you don't buy it?
Um, no, that's a good question. It's a little far-fetched, but I buy it. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll buy it too, but it is a little far fetched. Now, if they would have had that emotional connection like the original pair had in the Sam Raimi verse, then I would have bought it like
Yeah.
100%. You know,
Right.
the fight would have meant more to me. I love seeing them fight. That was cool. You know, the way they were like on each other and like this. I wanted to know how strong the Goblin was because
Mhm.
obviously he was strong enough to fucking when they're in that what is it, the clock tower or whatever.
Mhm.
They're fighting each other. He grabs Spider-Man, sweeps him off his feet, knocks him on the ground,
Mhm.
and like he's on top of him. So I was like, damn, this dude's he's strong. He came in super fast. Like I wanted to see more of that. They didn't establish how strong he was. I just guess we should know, right? But I would like for them to explain how strong this dude was because remember that spider sense, you know. But he
Right.
outwitted his spider sense. He was so fast, he slams him on the ground.
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty neat. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and so overall, do you think it was a good death to Green Goblin, or he didn't even die?
Oh, how they got rid of him?
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, because I want to see more of him. I'm glad they didn't
Yeah.
kill him off. I'm just glad that he's in the crazy house, and then we didn't bring him up in the first one, but there's that man in black or whatever with the hat. He shows up to Lizard in the crazy house, and he's like, "You didn't tell the boy about his father, did you?" And he's all, "No, he's all good." And then Lizard, the good Samaritan towards Peter Parker, "Leave him alone. Leave the boy alone." It's fucking dumb. So then this one, they have him in the crazy house,
Mhm.
and then that's like you said earlier. They have the Doctor Octopus tentacles. They got the vulture wings. It's trying to hint at Sinister Six coming later in the future.
Mhm.
And then that guy shows up again to him, and like Harry Osborn isn't, oh, don't leave him alone. He's my friend. We're cool. I don't know. They didn't explain how he got back to normal from the Goblin thing, but he's ready to go. He's like, okay, let's start releasing people or whatever. He goes with this guy, whoever the fuck he is, and then Rhino shows up, and then
Mhm.
they go from there. I wanted more, and I got nothing.
No, no, you're right. And one thing that we kind of forgot was very deep to me in my book is the death of Gwen Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was deep. Remember, he's already lost his Uncle Ben, and he really didn't go into too many emotions about it, right? Just like Pussy Maguire on the first Raimi verse. But
Right.
now it's Gwen Stacy, and man, that broke my heart more
Yeah.
than two, because they were so close. They loved each other, and then she was deciding not to go to Oxford in London, but to stay with him. And then she died,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that he had juggled, right? Because we didn't really get into it, but remember, he was haunted by her father throughout part two on the promise that he made, because it would put her life at risk. Well, this
Mm-hmm.
proved it. See, in the Sam Raimi verse, he's so scared of putting her life at risk. Yeah, only Aunt May's life was at risk, I think. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? The other time was when they're sitting down eating lunch, and Doc Ock throws that car through the freaking window.
Yeah.
There's a few little things like that, but other than that, because she wanted to be around the trouble, the danger. Aunt May, her ass was fucking captured from her house, and
Yeah.
like I said, this is the Sam Raimi verse. Now this one was because Gwen Stacy was being around all the action too, and then Green Goblin ends up killing her, and I thought that death was so creative, man. He barely saves it, and if you guys remember the spider web that he shoots, it's flying out and it has like a hand, like,
Yeah, it looks like a little bitty hand. I thought that was cool.
oh my god, so creative, and it captures her, but it's so late that it grabs her, pulls her up, and she snaps her neck, and then hits that ground, right?
Yep.
Wow, man, great filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And no, so overall, with Electro, Green Goblin, I thought the introduction of Green Goblin, I thought it was great. Like I said, it's a little off. And I think it's
Yeah.
because it's thrown off on the cartoon, it's thrown off on the movies with Sam Raimi. And nobody even knows the real origin story of Green Goblin. It's so lost now, But overall, I like Spider-Man 2, or The Amazing Spider-Man Part 2. I like them both. And I'll get into a little bit more on why I like that series the best. But
Mm-hmm.
anything else you want to add to it?
That's pretty much it on my book. I'm trying to think. Um, oh, so what did you think of Electro overall? Jamie Foxx's portrayal?
I thought he did good, but it was just kind of like he was a weak, human. He becomes Electro. He doesn't know what the hell he's become. He needs help. Nobody wants to help the dude. He becomes angry, and then I thought by the end of his part, I thought he was very good, very strong character, very great villain, and had an awesome death.
Yeah, he just overloaded. I was kind of confused though, like what happened to him? Did he disappear or like something? I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I mean that's a good way to get rid of him.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So real quick, before we get into the last one, because we're not going to get into the Holland verse, which is actually directed by, and I wrote it down here, John Watts. John Watts is the director of Disney Studios. I just call it the Tom Holland verse because he's the reason why the Amazing Spider-Man to me, guys, is the best series is because we want Spider-Man. That's all we want. It's freaking titled Spider-Man. We want Spider-Man. We want his origin story. We want to know his how he gets his suit. We love it. We could see it 100 times. It could be 100 reboots. In my book, we love it. We want to see it. We want to hear it. We love the characteristics of Spider-Man. We want to see him flying. We want to all be Spider-Man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd love to be Spider-Man. But the Sam Raimi, even though that's the nostalgia, when it first came out, it's a huge loss for me. There's too much drama. There's too much issues that he's trying to overcome, and it takes so much away from the Spider-Man.
Yeah, it does.
And I know you disagree because you say that Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man, but you like the story writing from Sam Raimi. I still like the story writing better on the Amazing Spider-Man. He was making lemonade out of lemons or whatever the old saying is, right? Because his back was against the wall. So I like. Right. So that's to me what gives the edge. They didn't have enough Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi verse. We wanted more and more and more. The first one is the best one of them all. You can tell they put heart, soul, passion into writing. It was a great Sam Raimi first one, and so that one to me is ranked number 3. Sam Raimi number 1 is ranked number 3. I think Amazing Spider-Man 1 goes first. Amazing Spider-Man 2 goes second, and then the Sam Raimi first movie goes, and then I can't even stand the other two from Sam Raimi. Now, what gives the Amazing Spider-Man to me the edge over the Tom Holland's is that, once again, making lemonade out of lemons. Now you're 3 series down the line. Now they have to avoid Sam Raimi. They have to avoid Mark Webb's version. So now you have the lack of Green Goblin. Now you have the lack of the origin story. Now it's just kind of like he's Spider-Man, and you should already know that's their attitude. The other thing is, I think he's to me he's better than Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's number 1, Tom Holland's number 2, Tobey Maguire's number 3. Now the thing is with this Spider-Man is, we get a lot of Spider-Man. So to me, I like the Tom Holland's better than the Sam Raimi's. But what I don't like, and this is where the Amazing Spider-Man takes the edge, is that they took out the origin story. They took out the Uncle Ben story, right? They took out, what I was going to say was actually they didn't take it out. They gave him this like super high tech. I think of him as like Iron Man suit. Like an Iron Man suit, it does all kinds of crap. Come on, did that ever happen? But it's ironic because it works. It really does work with the whole Tony Stark and the Avengers. It works. They made it happen. But to me, it's good writing, good acting, good stories, right? The villains. The first one was Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2017. Vulture and very, very, very sub-boss. There was actually Shocker and Shocker 2.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second one I thought was great with Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, right, which is Spider-Man Far From Home 2019. So there's a great villain. Now the next one I heard, there's Doctor Strange, Doc Ock, played by Alfred Molina, and Electro, Jamie Foxx. So they take two villains from two different Spider Verses and combine them. So what my point is, and that's going to be Spider-Man No Way Home 2021 this year. And once again, both Disney Studios, directed by John Watts, all three of them. And long story short, where I'm getting at is, as great as they've made it work with the Avengers and Endgame and all that good stuff, by taking out the origin story, the Uncle Ben story, and making him basically like Iron Man, to me, that loses the edge over the Amazing Spider-Man series.
Yeah, no, you're right. And what sucks about it, in my opinion, I can't give Amazing Spider-Man series the proper, to choose if I like that one better than Sam Raimi. A lot of stuff I can't stand with Sam Raimi's verse, but at the same time, I still prefer it. And it's not nostalgia because I'm looking out of nostalgia goggles. It's just the tone and the feel of it. Now, I think if we got that third movie from Andrew Garfield's verse, the Mark Webb's verse, I'm pretty sure I'd go with them. But one thing I know for sure, character-wise, actor-wise, is Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man yet that we have, even better than Tom Holland. I know we're not really going to talk about those. We're going to have our own little episode with those, but I won't change my mind on it. Andrew Garfield's awesome. Tobey Maguire does come third, ironically. It's just too much crying, too much being that creepy dude in the trench coat, like stalking little kids at high school.
40
I can't do that. I just can't. But I still prefer the other one. It sucks, I mean, I wish I got that third movie. Because I have a feeling if I got that third movie with Andrew Garfield, then I'd go on with the series. I just can't stand Lizard, bro. I can't stand that they tried to change his origin story. Uncle Ben trying to go for the gun. Man, leave the fuck. Don't you ever fucking see a crook or some guy running, they fall and drop their gun. Don't you ever try to grab it from them, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're dead. You're asking to be killed. That was stupid to me. Horrible. The Lizard's plan, yeah, he had a plan, a master plan, but at the same time, what the fuck was the deal? Like, what's going to happen? All the lizards there, that's it. That Electro, I feel like Electro or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man could have easily been Electro because I feel like he had that obsession with Mary Jane. Electro had that obsession with Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So I was like, oh, it was little. They told this guy don't borrow from Sam Raimi verse, but at the same time he borrowed a little bit of negative things from him here and there. But I mean, overall, not that bad,
Yeah.
I really enjoy Andrew Garfield's portrayal. I think he's the best.
Absolutely. One last thing I'm going to add before we start giving skulls and talking about news and future and closing, for updates and whatnot, or winners and losers and all that good stuff is one thing that I noticed. Like I said, just we're not getting to the Tom Holland Spider-Mans yet, but when it comes to friends, sidekicks, what I wrote down was in the Sam Raimi version. I called it Best Friends. So Sam Raimi had Harry Osborn. That was it. That was Peter Parker's number one friend was Harry Osborn. It was well known. In the Mark Webb version, it was Gwen Stacy. They were best friends in that relationship, and I loved that. You know what I mean? That made sense to me. And then in the John Watt, right, the Tom Holland one, listen to this. He's got Ned, the fat kid. I put down Tony Stark as a friend, and he's got Happy Hogan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Happy Hogan's the butler for Tony Stark. So he had all those. And I just wanted to just make that known that I was paying attention to that. And why is that important? It's important because Sam Raimi, like I said earlier, having Harry Osborn as his main friend or whatever, it ties into the conflict later on. The one brilliant thing I think he did a great job tying that in. Now, him getting amnesia and all that other stuff, I'm not saying that's brilliant at all. You know what I mean? That's cheesy. But anyways, and then the Gwen Stacy one, like I said, that one, she helps him. She literally is the mastermind on helping to magnetize his web shooters, which helps him be who he is. I mean, can you imagine Spider-Man fighting with no webs? That's dumb, right? So there, and she helps him come up with a plan to find Electro. And then the last one is I think Ned in John Watts' version with Tom Holland, Ned is freaking worthless. He's like a little computer hacker. He's a big mouth. He's like put on his suit and done some dumb shit, like just dumb, right?
Yeah, it's dumb, man.
Yeah. Tony Stark ends up dying in Endgame. We get that, right, from Iron Man or whatever. But leaves the glasses, who Tom Holland screws up and gives them to freaking Mysterio. And then Happy Hogan's been a very good, solid friend. But he's, dating his aunt, right? Fucking Marissa Tomei, Aunt May.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So shit's going to be his uncle pretty soon. So other than that, dude, is there what about skulls? So Sam Raimi's skulls 1 to 10, and we're gonna just group them all together. What would you give? How many skulls? 1 to 10.
With Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man, with all its flaws.
No, I was just all of them.
All of them. Oh shit. Let me see.
Is that you want to do that?
That's hard for me because they're completely different universes. Maybe we just do the universes, like the Sam Raimi version.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, skulls for just the Sam Raimis. All the Sam Raimis. That's what I meant.
Yeah, Sam Raimi. I want to say on scale 1 to 10 skulls. Let me think. Just because of the first one, I'm gonna give it a 6 or a 7. 7 skulls, just because of the first one. The rest of it brings it down.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. 7 skulls, because the first one's good, and like you said, there's still good concepts in the other ones, right? You have the concept of Doc Ock and the concept of Venom. I think keep it at a 7. Yep. What about the Amazing Spider-Man?
Amazing Spider-Man. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
I want to say, just because I love Andrew Garfield as a Spider-Man, I do hate his hair, but that's nitpicking big time. So I want to say, and then another thing that bugged me is he's a skater. I was like, cringing with that. But just his portrayal as Spider-Man, in general. He wasn't that emo Spider-Man. He wasn't even like a sensitive dude, really, to be honest. He was a smartass. He had smartass comments. But at the same time, I know I brought this up offline. He was a Spider-Man that was confident when he was in the groove, when he knew that he wouldn't, there's nothing to him. But whenever there was trouble and the pot was overfilled, he could lose. He's in distress. Like, he tries to stop and reason with people. Mm-hmm. He stops being a smartass. He reasons with people, like the villains, which I loved about it. That's how Spider-Man would be. So overall, the Amazing Spider-Man, I want to say, this is for Andrew Garfield's portrayal. I want to give it. I want to give it a 6. It's pretty high, to be honest. I'm really being like really sweet to this dude because I love him as Spider-Man. I'm like Electro, fucking obsessed. Yeah, but I mean, because seriously, if it wasn't for him, I would have given this series, the storylines and everything, a 3. To be fucking honest.
Oh, really?
But thanks to him, yeah. No, maybe 4.
I'll give you my score, and it'll hopefully help you see what I see. So I give it, believe it or not, I give it an 8. I think it has the edge over the Sam Raimi because, to me, I'm looking at Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I think he's the best, and I like the story writing better, overall better. But what makes it not a 10 or a 9 or 10 is because of the villains. But his back was against the wall. But he made, like I said, lemonade. But that's why it's not a 9 or a 10. But like you said, you're I know in your perception it's part of the story. Like you said, you don't like the story because you're tying in the villains to it. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not trying to. If you want to give it a 6, I think okay. But like I said, I give it the edge over the Sam Raimi's an 8, which is Sam Raimi to me is a 7. Thanks to the first movie primarily. They had the characters. I like the characters. This is shitty story writing.
Yeah.
So to me, like you said, it would have been a 6 or 7 to me for the first Sam Raimi. So, and then like I said, I know we're not doing the skulls on the last one. But right now, it's pretty good. To me, it's about a 7 too for the Tom Hollands. I know, like I said, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Are you pretty familiar with the?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, but the same thing. It's like now I got to revisit it. That's why we chose not to do the review. Add those 2 in it, just because it wouldn't be fair. Because all I know now is rewatching Amazing Spider-Man. I'm gonna be now all of a sudden Tom Holland has like revisiting him because I only saw the movie once in theater, so it didn't make a big deal to me. And I saw the one with the I was gonna say Magneto, what's his name, Mysterio. I saw it on video. You know, not paying attention, but I enjoyed it. Like I probably paid attention about 80%. But anyway, fact of the matter is, it wouldn't be fair to that universe if I would judge those. I want to say, excuse me, you know, but seeing this one now, it sets that bar now for Tom Holland. Because I revisit and I finally paid attention to Amazing Spider-Man. So now there's a high bar to be set, even though I've seen the movies before. But I mean, when I revisit them, it's like, oh man, like I'm bummed already that we didn't get a third Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
With this dude.
Now, real quick, the good, the bad. S-Rod's good, the bad. And we can do it Sam Raimi versus the Mark Webb verse.
Yeah, the good for Sam Raimi verse is that it's comic book accurate. The background, you know, he tried to get money with this wrestling gig. That's comic book accurate. The way Spider-Man is portrayed, minus the sensitivity. I mean, like the villains are big time, you know, which is great. But what's horrible is the bad is there's too much sensitivity in these fucking films. Too much like lovey-dovey bullshit. Too much obsessions. Like too much drama. Every movie has drama to keep you on bar, but then like. I feel this guy has like 12 things on his list that's dramatic, and by the end of the film, he's only taking care of about 3 of them. You know, it spills onto the next films, and then they add more on top of that list. You know, it's ridiculous. So that's the bad about it, like big time. And then with Mark Webb verse, the great, of course, is and you notice I didn't bring up Tobey Maguire. I'm bringing up Andrew Garfield. He's the best Spider-Man, and I still stick to my word that if they would mix things from the first movie and this series, we'd have the perfect Spider-Man movie if they mixed them. Unfortunately, they didn't. So the good is, of course, Andrew Garfield. And then the bad was just the lizard. I mean, on the first one. And I can't stand the fucking lizard. I'm sorry, man. I hate lizards. I mean, I love lizards, but I hate this lizard. So anyway, then also, like, it's just the villains. You know, I feel like they were neutered. Their balls were chopped off. If they told them, look, you can use even the Raimi stuff, but make it your own, it would have been great. I wouldn't mind seeing another Green Goblin, which we did get on the second one. I wouldn't mind seeing another Dr. Octopus. You know, I feel this Mark Webb dude would have done great if he would have, like, maybe borrowed those villains. Fuck Lizard, you know, get somebody else. And he would have done a great job. And I wouldn't be here telling you that I still prefer Raimi over Mark Webb. I'd be telling you, fuck Raimi. You know, I'm already telling you that because I hate the sensitive bullshit about it. It's like Spider-Man, you know, he's just a little sensitive, like, bitch boy, you know? And this dude isn't as sensitive as him. So, yeah, like I said, you know, I guess the bad is like the villains for Mark Webb. Or the storytelling a little bit, I'd say. You know? But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Awesome, bro. So my Steve-O's winners and losers. So for the Sam Raimi verse, the winners to me are definitely William Dafoe as the actor. You know, he had Alfred Molina did good, and I thought James Franco did okay. And I like Tobey. I can't remember his last name, but the guy who plays Eddie Brock in the third one.
Actually, yeah, from that 70s show.
Yes, yep. So, Toby Gopher or something. Anyways,
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. There you go. I said Topher Grace. I said Toby Gopher. Anyways, I like his acting. Those are the if I didn't name anybody else, if I didn't name them, I didn't like them. So once again, William Dafoe, Alfred Molina, James Franco, and Topher Grace, whatever his name is. Those 4. Those are the only actors I give credit to. Oh, and J.K. Simmons. I like his acting.
Oh, yep.
So those are winners. And the losers, of course, is Sam Raimi. I'm sorry, Sam. Same birthday, but no, man. I huge fail across the board. The first one I'll give him credit for, you know, because it has the origin stories. That's why it just touches our heart, man. We can't think bad of it, really. My winners and losers for the Amazing Spider-Man Mark Webb verse is I like the acting. I like the story of the uncle and aunt, or excuse me, the parents. the backstory of it. Like I said, remember, I'm giving him credit on that because I know you kind of feel that if they gave him, if they gave Mark Webb, the director, that little breathing room to copy Sam Raimi. But the thing is, I don't think that was even brought up. I think, remember, every time a director takes over, especially for one of these known series, man, whether it's James Bond or Superman or Batman, when they take over, they have to put their stamp on it. So I'm thinking that that's why I praise the stories, because Mark Webb wanted to put a stamp on it, and I think he did a great job. Now, was one of the losers? So once again, the winners is Mark Webb, story writing, and Andrew Garfield. And then the losers would be, I would say I give a little praise to Electro and the Goblin, but the losers wasn't that great. Hated the haunting of the father, but it's okay. Overall, that's my favorite.
Oh yeah, that was cheesy. The haunting of the father, then the lizard talking to himself in his head, like Norman Osborn in the mirror, the Raimi verse. So yeah, stuff like that. Electro's obsession. To be honest, out of the villains, the only one that was good was, I know we only got about 2 minutes of him, but Rhino looked cool in that armor. We got our nuts chopped off, robbed, because we wanted to see that battle. It just ends right then and there when he's about to hit him with that manhole cover, And then Harry Osborn's Green Goblin was a plus to me, and that's pretty much it. It's crazy because as much drama-filled Sam Raimi's universe is with Spider-Man, the villains are decent, compared to these villains. But then again, that's why we needed that third movie to see where they would have went.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. So here's the thing, bro. We got news or future updates. You have anything to add?
Just that there's rumors, the rumor mill's going on that we're getting that Spider-Verse movie in December, and there's rumors that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to return to be on it. And it's going to be all three Spider-Man, because it's already confirmed that Dr. Octopus, Alfred Molina, is going to return, which is great.
Jamie Foxx.
Great actor. Yeah, and then Jamie Foxx as well, returning as Electro. So that's very interesting. So there's rumors that Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire are going to be on it. So
absolutely.
I did hear also that Tobey Maguire is asking for a pretty penny. He's asking for like $15 million to do the role again. And I'm like, damn, bro, don't you need the money, bro? Because fucking, I haven't seen him since what, Brothers, or that movie with that horse? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, I'm excited, man. But do you have anything else, bro, overall for the Spider-Mans?
That's pretty much it. Just that it's now a tragedy to me that I revisited this Amazing Spider-Man movie and we're not going to get no more Andrew Garfield. I mean, I hope he comes back on this one. That would be great. Awesome.
And to the fans, the viewers, I know we've gone over probably 2 hours now. Take your breaks, listen in, let us know what you think. We want comments. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and say, sorry it's so long, because it's just two bros geeking out over something that we're passionate about. Yeah, we do a little research, but we just want to make sure we know what the heck we're talking about, and make sure that you guys get 100% of our passion and knowledge of these movies. So we really hope you guys enjoy. Leave your comments, subscribe, tell your friends, family about it. About this channel here, and get them to subscribe too. We'd love to hear any feedback or recommendations for movies. I know The Mask was one of them, right, Steve?
Yeah, the Mask series, so that means Son of the Mask as well, which is a train wreck, travesty from what I've heard. So that would be interesting to do a review about that. And then also, I know somebody had recommended Austin Powers and then Jurassic Park series.
Ooh. Well, we're going to work our way over there. Like I said, it's been almost 3 months since this one. Like I said, totally worth the 2 hours that we've put into this video. Enjoy it. Like I said, we don't have a next video. I know Last Action Hero might be coming up pretty soon. And we're always, like I said, open to recommendations. We'll get to them as soon as we can. But I know we haven't done the Batmans yet. right?
Oh, we want to return to that one most definitely. We'd have to get Catherine on that one.
Yep.
The Nolan verse.
Nolan verse.
That would
There
be
you go.
fantastic. There's a lot to see. I revisited Dark Knight Rises recently, and I got a lot to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have the Ghostbusters. So
Yes. Also, yes, Ghostbusters is going to be exciting. And then also
the
another.
Afterlife.
Yeah, Afterlife's coming out.
And also what?
Oh, I was going to say also we had another recommendation of a RoboCop series.
Oh, that would be good.
That's in the future too. So we can't say we don't have any content waiting. It's just, it takes time to get it out here, know. So at the same time, we're not getting paid for this. We do this on our personal time, but we do it.
That's what it pays.
So subscribe not for us, at least for our bladders, because it takes a lot to sit here and not use a restroom.
I know. Hey, we love you guys. Like I said, subscribe, send us some comments. God bless. Take care.
Yes.
Debo out.
God bless y'all. Stay safe out there, guys.
Bye.